Manitoba. Happy Tuesday. Lower Fort Garry is where Joseph Bernacki is. Lots of programming, including a makeup Bannock workshop and a knowledge-keeping series. Also, I'm pretty jealous because I love the grounds there. It really is stunning watching that sunrise. Let's have a look at your headlines first. My apologies. Fires are tearing through Winnipeg restaurants, and someone's setting them on purpose as police search for answers. One owner shares the heartbreak left behind. It was a routine flight until it wasn't. A Delta jet and a massive U.S. bomber came dangerously close. Now the Air Force is looking for answers. And summer's always too short, but now science backs that up. Earth is spinning faster, cutting milliseconds from our days. Bringing in
Noticing
Terry
those
now.
milliseconds.
I was gonna say, have you noticed it?
Do you know what I've noticed is the less desirable conditions that we've had with, you know, such an extreme fire season, and so the smoke has been so heavy, and I feel like that's what's cutting people's summer short a little bit, is the lack of time that we're able to really get outside and enjoy it. 16 degrees, those winds this morning, they're out of the north. That's not good news. They're on the lighter side for now. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 91%. Now, the air quality warning map is not including Winnipeg, most of northern and central Manitoba, and then further east yet. However, we are likely, with these winds out of the north now this morning, they're on the lighter side. They'll be increasing through the day, drawing some of that smoke back in, and we are likely in for some smoky conditions later on. Some stormy conditions before that happens. Take a look at the satellite image. A lot of activity happening both through southwestern Manitoba, but also south of that international line, and both of those seem to be kind of closing in on us. So very good chance of showers or thunderstorms. We'll see how much time I'll be able to even spend up on the rooftop this morning if these storms don't keep me indoors. Even for my walk home today, look at that. Could be pretty stormy and active. Meanwhile, northern Manitoba, clearer as far as the storms go, but very smoky. So that's going to be an issue there throughout much of northern, central Manitoba. And then, like I said, for this afternoon, with the smoke being drawn back in again, we too will notice that. As far as temperatures go, it's going to be a little bit cool and below seasonal today, but after today, things begin to warm up, and then it does still look like it's going to be pretty hot as we continue through the rest of the week and into the coming weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Winnipeg police are investigating a number of intentionally set restaurant fires in the span of just a few weeks. At least 3 restaurants have been damaged by arsonists. Police have made no arrests. And as CTV's Dandon Unger shows you, for at least one restaurant owner, the damage is a little tough to digest.
Security video shows the break-in at Tita Thai's restaurant on Donald Street. The video, posted on Facebook by a member of the owner's family, appears to show a man smashing through the window with a hammer before attempting to light an object on fire. According to the post, this happened around 4:18 a.m. on July 4th. Winnipeg police told CTV News the incident is being investigated as a commercial break-and-enter. In another incident, a restaurant on Main Street was also vandalized.
They smashed these windows here.
Commonwealth Kitchen and bar owner Nicola Maharaj says it happened on July 10th around 4:50 a.m.
Somebody walked by, shopping cart, brick, gasoline, a couple other items, broke a few of our windows with the brick, and then the window that kind of broke right through, they threw, it looked like a cracker box or something like that was on fire. Lit the booth on fire inside.
He says the sprinklers put out the flames but caused extensive flooding and damage, forcing him to close the restaurant for at least 6 months.
It's not the first time we've had our windows damaged. When we took over, there was damage. It's kind of just seems like a natural part of being in downtown Winnipeg, unfortunately. It just happens all the time.
Police confirm this incident is being investigated as arson. And in another incident, West End Thai restaurant May Sunny was also burned in a fire on July 18th, which police say is being investigated as arson. Police tell CTV News at this time it cannot confirm if the incidents are linked and said no arrests have been made. Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
CTV News has reached out to the family that owns Tina's and May Sunny. They're waiting to hear back. 3 teenage boys have been charged after another teen was attacked with a machete and robbed inside CF Polo Park on Friday evening. Police say that 14-year-old male victim was shopping at the mall when he was approached by the suspects. The victim was hit several times with a machete, and the attack continued after he fell to the ground. The suspects then robbed him before running from the scene. Police say that the victim suffered a significant injury to his hand and was taken to hospital in stable condition. Police arrested the suspects at a nearby restaurant shortly after. 3 male teens aged 13, 14, and 15 are charged with robbery. The 15-year-old was released on an undertaking, while the other 2 suspects remain in custody. New York State Police have now charged the father of the 9-year-old Montreal girl found dead with second-degree murder.
I never knew him as anyone that would give us any hint or any idea that he could become violent.
Luciano Faloni reported this daughter, Melina, missing on Saturday night. He told police she was abducted by 2 men in a white van. Now police say they believe that Fatoni Lynn killed his daughter and left her in a remote area before reporting the abduction. Her body was found by authorities in a shallow pond in Ticonderoga, New York. They had been on vacation in the States since July 11th. Police say that Melina's mother was aware of the trip and said she had no concerns for her daughter's safety. Fatolin was also been charged with concealment of human remains. A not guilty plea has been entered on his behalf in the arraignment hearing yesterday. A close call in the skies over North Dakota forced a Delta flight to make a quick dodge to avoid a mid-air collision.
I looked over and saw the airplane that was kind of coming on a converging course with us. Sorry about the aggressive maneuver. It caught me by surprise. This is not normal at all.
The pilot of the passenger jet heading from Minneapolis to North Dakota apologizing for the move after a B-52, the biggest bomber in the U.S. Air Force, performed a flyover close by. The pilot claims he didn't get a heads up about the air traffic.
All of a sudden, we just kind of jerk really hard to the right. He just kept taking more turns and more turns, and he gets on the announcement and says, like, "I'm sorry, everybody. I'll explain everything once we've landed safely."
It's still not clear how close the 2 planes came to each other. The Air Force is investigating the incident. Ballet in the Park returns to the Lyric Theatre for the first time under the direction of Christopher Stoll. The popular series will run Wednesday through Friday at Assiniboine Park. Free performances offer a glimpse at the new 2025-26 season and a new chapter for the company under its new artistic director. Fans will be treated to a creative movement class and 3 pieces from the school's recreational division. But the main event is an excerpt from Tall, the Wild Man of the Woods, which will be performed in full by the RWB this coming winter. It follows an Indigenous legend about a young woman on her quest to rescue her sister from a dark figure. If today feels short, it's because it will be. Today could be anywhere from 1.25 to 1.35 milliseconds shorter than 24 hours. July 10th was the shortest day of the year so far at 1.36 milliseconds less 24 hours. The reason why is because the Earth is apparently spinning a little faster than usual. It happens from time to time, so you may be wondering what's the big deal when these short days start adding up. They can affect computers, satellites, and telecommunications. Scientists say every time that this happens, it raises the possibility of a negative leap second, and that means taking a second off the world's official standard. The next short day is expected to happen August 5th. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along McPhillips Street, no stalls or crashes to report. Let us know if you spot otherwise. Our Joseph Bernacki is at Lower Fort Garry this morning. Beautiful morning, Joseph.
It certainly is, Ainsley. Yeah, we've just got the sunrise coming up just over the fort this morning, and we're going to take you back in time today to the 1850s. I'm just standing in front of course, the big house just in behind me here, and it's just lovely walking through the courtyards here, taking in so much history between the old buildings. Coming up throughout the show today, we're going to bring you all that history here from Lower Fort Garry. In just about half an hour's time, we're going to be talking about a speaker series that they host here every second Saturday. It's a collaboration that Parks Canada has with the Forks. They bring in different different speakers to talk about Indigenous art, workshops, things like that. We're going to be hopefully making some Bannock later on in the show today. And as a part of the Canada Strong Pass, it's free admission to the park and other national parks entries throughout this year. So great time to bring the whole family down this summer, bring your friends and come see a beautiful space, take in some history, meet some great people that work here, guest speakers and all that sort of information. And we'll be bringing you more content coming up from Lower Fort Garry shortly here on CTV Morning Live. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Joseph. Terry, on the roof, the sun is rising, and finally a tortoise that is motivated by a mower.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time,
Look at it go. Okay, by the way, it is sped up. I have to let them know. As if they had no idea. But it does make you wonder, how slow is the mower going? And where did they get that turtle?
He's just cutting corners everywhere now, that little tortoise. Poor thing. Aw. That's so curious to me. I wonder if it's the motor that he likes, or the owner, perhaps could just be the owner that he wants to hang out with.
What a nice day in the backyard. Is today a good day to spend in the backyard?
Maybe. No. I was trying to think of how can I spin this so it's good news. So this morning we're probably in for some storms. Sky does seem a little dark out here this morning. We've been keeping our eye on the satellite image of storms that are moving through southwestern Manitoba and south of the border. All of that making its way toward us. So another round of rain, which we will welcome. My rain gauge I'm looking at here probably got about 3 millimeters-ish from yesterday. That could be filling up. I should dump that, and then we'll see what we get today. But yes, storms through the morning and then smoke through the afternoon, unfortunately. 15 degrees right now with winds out of the north-northeast. They're on the lighter side, just 5 clicks, but those winds out of the north, they'll be increasing throughout the afternoon, and that's what's going to draw more of that smoke back in again. We're without any warnings regarding the smoke this morning, although central and northern Manitoba are still under that smoke warning, the heavy smoke, with then the advisory off to the east. But we lucked in with those south winds kind of clearing the air last night or the day before, whereas now it's going to be a north wind bringing all of that back again. So storms this morning, smoke through the afternoon, cool and below seasonal temperatures expected. That sounds great, doesn't it? We'll be back with more right after this break.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Good morning. It's 6:15. Hot, dry conditions over the weekend intensified wildfire activity throughout Manitoba, and thick smoke blanketing the air isn't helping either. The province says it's keeping an eye on fires nearing the Laurier River Generation Station, Kettle Rapids Dam, Garden Hill, Leaf Rapids, and Snow Lake.
We have seen very scattered precipitation, so if we don't get the precipitation, we expect fire activity to continue to remain fairly active on those fires where it has been in recent days.
Officials say that the wildfire risk remains high to very high in eastern and northern Manitoba, with some areas at extreme danger. But despite those dry conditions, the province says that crews made good progress on fires near Thompson, Cross Lake, Split Lake, and Flin Flon over the weekend. However, smoky conditions, which have prompted widespread air quality statements and warnings, are impacting firefighting efforts, especially from the air.
Definitely when there's heavy smoke, it makes it difficult for our water bombers to take off or land. They need good visibility to safely conduct their operations. It's also an issue sometimes for the helicopters, depending on how low that smoke is. So we've had challenges getting crews out to areas of the fire where we would need access through helicopter, as well as just being able to bucket using a helicopter. It has been limited by smoke as well.
The province says that there are 120 wildfires burning as of Monday morning. That's 2 fewer than Friday. In the meantime, more than 13,000 Manitobans are currently evacuated because of the wildfires. They're occupying around 2,500 hotel rooms and 840 shelter beds. Canada's premiers are in Ontario cottage country as high-stakes meetings got underway on Monday, focused on trade and tariffs. Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to join the premiers today, with the deadline to reach a trade deal with the United States quickly approaching. CTV's Rachel Ayalo reports.
Premiers rolled into this Muskoka resort for their annual Summer Council of the Federation meeting. The get-together comes at a critical time.
Right now, our economy in all Canada suffers because of the uncertainty.
Canada is facing intensifying U.S. tariff pressure and a looming deadline to reach a new trade deal.
We need to be at the table, and we need to work through what is a very erratic stance coming from the President of the United States.
And premiers have come to cottage country looking for new ways to drive prosperity on this side of the border.
We have to diversify our trade.
And to do that, Canada needs to build.
We have to start building pipelines out west, east, north, and south. We have to unleash Canada, unleash Canadian industry, resources.
So premiers met with Indigenous leaders to talk about moving major new nation-building potential pipeline or mineral extraction projects forward. But their push to find a way to get to a yes faster, while still ensuring First Nations leaders are consulted, was met with some pushback.
They're pretty much set in their ways, and somehow we're supposed to believe them that things will be okay. And we're saying, no, we don't believe you.
It's always tough conversations, but it's so important that, that we find a different way in this country.
Where they did agree is on the need for Indigenous involvement.
We know if we want to get projects done quickly, the projects have to have strong Indigenous partnerships.
I'm saddened that it got off on a wrong foot with the federal government, but I think that's the intention of everyone around that table.
Prime Minister Mark Carney will join the premiers. He's expected to brief them on how close federal officials are to securing a trade deal with U.S. President Donald Trump, and will likely face some pointed questions about what happens if an agreement isn't reached by August 1st. Rachel Ayalo, CTV News, Huntsville, Ontario.
4 projects in Atlantic Canada fighting the overdose crisis will have new financial support from Ottawa.
Communities know what they need to address this crisis. They have the insight to identify what will work for them.
The federal government announced $2.8 million in funding to programs in Fredericton, Miramichi, Amherst, and St. John's. One of the projects that received support is the John Howard Society's overnight outreach van. The van is stocked up with supplies used to help an average of 30 people a night. Money for the projects comes from Ottawa's Emergency Treatment Fund. A scary moment caught on camera for a family's pet dog in the Philippines. A massive boulder rolled from the mountainside and onto the driveway, and a black Aspen survived, sprinting to safety seconds before it crushed her metal cage in a nearby car. Video shows her emerging from behind the massive rock and darting across the road. Warm up your vocal cords. An interactive show will make a stop here in Winnipeg this fall. Choir blends community, comedy, and song, with audience members helping provide the show's vocals. Their November 17th show at the Burton Cummings Theatre will pay a one-of-a-kind choral tribute to Queen, including hits like Bohemian Rhapsody and We Are the Champions. Tickets for the sing-along are available through Ticketmaster. Here's a live look at traffic. No stalls or crashes that we're aware of right now. Here's the Norwood Bridge. Let us know if you spot otherwise.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
And now a look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And just a few clouds out there for now, but they'll be stacking up quickly as the threat of storms rolls over us. Temperatures sitting at 15 degrees, still slightly above seasonal. 13 is normal for this time of year. You can see well above that. We've got 20 degrees at the moment in Sprague and in Kenora. Throughout most of Manitoba, we're looking at, or southern Manitoba, mid to high teens. as we're kicking things off this morning. I'll show you where the storms are already reaching, though. Northern Manitoba, single digits in Thompson. Aside from that, everybody's starting out at least in the double digits, and even some mid to high teens through much of northern Manitoba. The smoke is going to be an issue once again, however, especially through northern, central Manitoba, and eventually later today, likely here in the south as well. We're going to be dealing with some north winds increasing through the day, drawing some of that smoke back into our area. Now, right now, it's the storms that are passing through that we're keeping an eye on. Very active at the moment through southwestern Manitoba, and now just beginning to reach that international line. There you can see just how active it is, with plenty of thunderstorms firing off in that area. So a massive system that's basically going to move right across that southern, well, from basically side to side, east to west, Anyway, taking a look at the temperatures today and how they're going to be rising, it will actually, even though we're warm starting out, be a slightly below seasonal day. I've stopped this at noontime, and we're looking at basically mid to high teens throughout the province. That'll eventually push up into the low 20s, but that's about it for today. 26 degrees, that would be a normal daytime high. We'll get back to those numbers eventually. Mid 20s and then high 20s and even some low 30s as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Storms to kick things off this morning, smoke for the afternoon. Little LMA, welcome to the world, the newest addition out at Sandy Ridge Stables. Thanks to Kevin, who snapped this cute pic. And keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Today marks 1 year since wildfires surrounded the town of Jasper, Alberta, eventually destroying a third of its buildings. As the community works to rebuild, a report on the wildfire response has both the Premier and the town's mayor on the defensive. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports.
From the fire that hit Jasper was visible more than 80 kilometers down the highway that day. A wall of fire Parks Canada assessed at 50 meters high, propelled up the valley from the south by dry conditions and strong winds.
As the incident commander for the municipality of Jasper, I do believe there's nothing we could have done. There's no amount of resources or firefighters or air tankers that could have stopped that fire.
Crews tried to stop it. Fresh fire breaks, sprinkler systems, and teams on the ground couldn't stop homes and businesses catching fire from flaming debris raining from the sky.
You're always going to have an ember shower. Ahead of that fire will come the flying debris that will ignite something in your yard, something on your property.
Jasper is reviewing how the fire response could have been done better. An after-action report commissioned by the town and authored by 2 consulting firms was published last week. One small section suggesting the province disrupted the focus of incident commanders caught the ire of Premier Danielle Smith.
It took place in a federal park, and it was a federal Parks Canada response. So whatever it is that they are trying to do to deflect blame, I'm not impressed with it, and I would ask for an apology.
We have always acknowledged our gratitude to the province for the support that they have provided.
No apology from Mayor Richard Ireland, instead offering a clarification.
It was not intended to ascribe blame, and it does not ascribe blame. It describes circumstances.
The Premier also criticized Parks Canada's forest management before the fire, calling the efforts poor.
Parks Canada maintains it has been properly managing fire risk in the forest around Jasper. This is one of the areas where crews have cleared out certain trees and a bunch of other fuel. It is expensive work, and Parks Canada staff say it's a fine balance between public safety and keeping the area natural.
We did have a lot of fire risk reduction work on the landscape prior to last summer's fire, but the month of July last year was simply off the charts in terms of the hot, dry weather.
Officials with Parks and the town say the most practical improvement to reduce damage next time around is to get more people to fire smart their properties. Rebuilt homes will do that by default. The fire department is also rolling out a residential sprinkler system to be activated when the fire risk is high. In Jasper, Jeremy Thompson, CTV News.
Coming up at 6:38, our Joseph Bernanke is live from Lower Fort Garry chatting about a knowledge-sharing series. Don't go anywhere.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Here's a look outside. 15 degrees to kick off your Tuesday morning. The winds are light, but they are out of the northeast, and that's going to bring some of that smoke back again, especially as they increase through the day. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 94%. Now, those winds just shifted out of the north overnight. They were a south wind yesterday, which helped with the air quality here through much of southern Manitoba. But that's all going to change now as those winds are back out of the north and will eventually be increasing into the afternoon. Right now, still under that air quality warning is much of northern and central Manitoba, and then expect those air quality warnings to likely be reissued again here in the south. That'll be after the storms pass, of course, because first, this is what we can expect through most of southern Manitoba. Some pretty angry looking storms passing on through. We've got a system coming in from the southwest, this other one closing in from south of the international line and coming together just as we'll find ourselves in the path of those two systems merging. So showers, thunderstorms, and then later on today, once the storms pass, that's when we're likely to see that smoke increasing as these winds out of the north get up to about 30 clicks, and temperatures remaining a little bit cool today. 21 is where we'll top out. 26, by the way, that would be a normal daytime high. 13, a seasonal low. So right on par with those normal temps tonight. Partly cloudy conditions. The winds tapering, but still out of the north, and a north wind still expected for tomorrow. So while likely a mix of sun and cloud with the sky conditions, probably more of that smoke will be lingering. Continues to warm up through the latter part of the week and gets hot as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Hot, but possibly also stormy as well. Saturday, Sunday, the potential for some storms.
Thank you, Terry. A new program at a Winnipeg homeless shelter hopes to help addicts get their addictions under control. Silo Mission is now offering an in-house opioid therapy known as OAT treatment to its clients.
It is an opioid-based treatment, and so it fills the receptors in the brain to help people with cravings, withdrawal symptoms, and then not need to supplement with things that they may purchase off the street.
Patients who want to get clean get a controlled dose of methadone to help reduce cravings. The mission has a nurse practitioner and a pharmacist who visit the center and oversee the program. Offering OAT treatment in-house means that Silo's clients no longer have to travel to get what they need.
For a lot of our community members, leaving the area is pretty difficult to access services, so having it here in our building is going to be huge for community members who might not otherwise access the treatment elsewhere.
Clients can access help 7 days a week. The program isn't publicly funded and relies entirely on private funding. A Manitoba town is rallying together to help a family of a man who was shot to death earlier this month. RCMP were called to Teulon home on July 13th. 37-year-old Sean Lawson was shot and later died in hospital, leaving behind a 12-year-old son. CTV's Harrison Shin shows us how the community is rallying together for him.
Empty street, cloudy sky. A metaphor showing the town of Teulon's mood after single dad Sean Lawson died.
This is just totally horrific.
His son, 12-year-old Brody, was left behind.
He was a rock of a dad. He was doing everything he could for his son, being a single father, and that is what we know of Sean. He was a person that absolutely did not deserve this.
Now, Teulon is coming together.
We basically tried to figure out what would be the best route to go to do something for him.
Community and family members coordinated with a local Access Credit Union branch to set up a fund for Brody.
We were able to set the fund up so that anybody across Manitoba could deposit at any Access branch, or they can also deposit funds through e-transfer.
Kozira says funds will help him in the aftermath of his dad's death.
They will go towards expenses needed right now, such as counseling, such as therapy, everyday expenses to do with school, activities, and also we would like to put away some funds so that Brody can look to the future and put some funds away in an education savings plan for him.
So far, the response has been tremendous, with donations coming in from beyond Manitoba.
We've had responses all the way from Toronto and BC and stuff like that.
RCMP say 24-year-old Donovan Scogan was arrested and charged with second-degree murder in the death and also faces a charge of intimidation of a justice system participant. For now, The family is asking for privacy, but want the public to know any help is appreciated.
The family would like to express their thankfulness for the kindness and generosity to anyone who donates towards the funds for Brody.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Teulon.
The charges against Donovan Scogan have not been tested in court. Donations can be made at any Access Credit Union located in Manitoba. E-transfers can be made to the email address fundsforbrody2025@gmail.com. A 15-year-old boy is dead after he was stabbed in downtown Vancouver.
Whenever somebody dies, it's a tragedy, and it's an incredible impact on that person's family, friends, and community. And that tragedy and that impact is magnified when we're talking about somebody who's still a child, in this case, a 15-year-old boy.
It happened on Saturday night when he was found with serious injuries near Robson Square. Police say that he was from Surrey, and they believe that he was stabbed just before midnight. A passerby found him and called 911. The boy died on Sunday. No arrests have been made at this time. The Vancouver Police Department is asking for any witnesses to come forward. More than 5.2 million pools have been recalled across the U.S. and Canada after reports of 9 deaths. Recall is in effect for above-ground swimming pools by Bestway, Index, Recreation, and Polygroup. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and Health Canada say that these pools have a border of compression straps that little ones can use to step into the pools unattended. 9 children between the ages of 22 months and 3 years old have died in the U.S. No deaths have been reported in Canada. If you have one of these pools at home, contact your provider to receive a free repair kit. Taking a look now at the current traffic situation. This is Polo Park and Portage. No stalls or crashes that we're aware of. When it's safe and legal to do so, let us know. CTV Morning, WPG. Taking a look at your gas prices, the Canadian average stands at $1.36, while the provincial average is lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29. The lowest price in the city, $1.19. All this information available at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Lower Fort Garry is where Joseph Bernanke is this morning, and I understand you're going to be learning about a knowledge-keeping series, Joseph.
We certainly are, Ainsley. Yes. Good morning, Winnipeg. At this time, I'm very pleased to be joined by France Richards. France is a knowledge weaver with Parks Canada, and we're standing in front of Gebeshwin here at the fort this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thanks so much for having me. And yes, welcome to Gebeshwin. Gebeshwin is the Anishinaabemowin, or the Ojibwe language word for camp or campsite. And a few years ago, we were able to set up a few dwellings here to represent the wigwams and also this 12-foot bison hide teepee that you would have seen Indigenous people using in the past, in a contemporary sense, and just kind of feature history and culture of what you would have seen from Indigenous peoples at Lower Fort Garry.
Very neat. And you guys are having a knowledge-keeping series throughout the summer. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening here, and then there's also speakers at the Forks, I understand. Kind of talk to me about what that looks like.
Yeah, sure. So that'd be our knowledge-sharing series, and so the knowledge-sharing series showcases knowledge holders that want to share experiences and skills and knowledge about all kinds of things, like whether it's beadwork or perhaps Norway house-style silk embroidery. And even next week, what we have coming up on Saturday is Pat Bruder with birch bark biting. You can go back to the Forks, check out Milanigamash for Métis beadwork. There's also Armand and Kelly Jerome to talk about the Red River carts. And also, you'll see Lance Guibault sharing some storytelling at the Forks as well.
That's really cool. So if we take the Red River cart as an example, they kind of show people how to make them or talk about their historical significance. Is that kind of the idea?
Both, and all kinds of different things. Also how it's a symbol for the Métis people. They talk about the different nuances and also what it means to kind of be practicing making those crafts as a form of kind of reclamation of identity, of just kind of as an important marker of bringing in culture of the Métis people.
What do you find most interesting about Gebeshwin and this space that was added on to the fort?
Oh, great question. I think for me it's the chance to see people bring in an Indigenous perspective to talk about the other part of history that historically doesn't always get shared as much as what you'd kind of want to be seeing. So for people to come here and see what the history and culture of Indigenous people has been and currently is, which I think is a great opportunity.
And before we go, France, quickly tell me a little bit about the Canada Strong Pass. Great opportunity for Manitobans to come here.
Yes, absolutely. So for all Canadians, for all people, it is free until September 2nd to go to National Historic Sites, National Parks, and Marine Conservation Areas. So make a day of it, come hang out, we'd be glad to have everybody, and it's a great opportunity to enjoy some fun for free.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate your time on the show this morning, France, and we'll be back in the 7 o'clock hour with more history and information from Lower Fort Garry. Stay tuned.
Joseph, thank you very much. Terry, yesterday was quite gloomy, but from what I can see, even at the fort, it's improved.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we're not dealing with the storms at this moment, but it's only a matter of time. Yesterday, I found kind of touch and go. I mean, there were moments where it was quite beautiful, especially into the evening time once those storms passed. But yes, there were moments of activity that brought about 3 millimeters of rain to my rain gauge, which I've now emptied and prepared for the next round of rain. We'll see what comes of it. The storms are looking very, very active through southwestern Manitoba, but even more so south of the border. So we could be seeing some pretty active weather through the course of the morning. It's 15 degrees right now with north-northeast winds on the lighter side. They're just 5 kilometers per hour, but they are out of the north. Now, the air quality is a little bit better. No warnings issued here through southern Manitoba. That will likely change, though, with these winds out of the north and then increasing through the day. They're probably going to draw more of that smoke back in. Smoke that is still very prevalent through central and northern Manitoba, and those warnings are still in place in the areas north of us. Drier conditions expected there today, so really it's just going to be a smoky one through much of northern Manitoba. And by this afternoon, after the storms pass through, we could be in for those smoky conditions all over again. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Looking at the early markets this morning, it's a slightly lower start to the trading day. Dow futures are down 13 points. NASDAQ futures are leading the drop, down 45 points. S&P futures are slipping by 5 points. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight dip this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng is on the rise, up 135 points, while Japan's Nikkei is down by 44. Good morning. Like many businesses, the steel industry in Manitoba is hoping a trade deal with the U.S. can be reached soon. This comes as 50% U.S. tariffs are impacting the steel and aluminum sectors, and new tariffs loom for August 1st. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, a Winnipeg steel company has had to get creative to keep staff working.
Winnipeg's Brunswick Steel manufactures parts. With the U.S. tariffs on steel at 50%, General Manager Adam Plouffe says they've had to make adjustments.
For us, what it did is it shifted all of our purchases to non-tariff countries. So we're buying in Canada predominantly. We are buying some imports from other countries that are non-tariff related.
But buying overseas can increase shipping times, so the companies had to stock up. And Plouffe says business is down about 12% compared to last year. They've implemented a federal work-sharing program in order to keep all of their staff on. The company pays 7 hours of an 8-hour day, and EI takes care of the last hour.
We don't like it. Okay, I'll be very clear about it. It was something we hesitated doing. That's not a fun thing to do for our staff or anyone.
President Donald Trump has also announced 35% tariffs on other Canadian goods starting August 1st. This as the two countries try to negotiate a trade deal. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with U.S. lawmakers in Ottawa Monday.
We all want to get to August 1st and beyond with a resolve that works for Canada and works for the United States.
Steel is big in Selkirk. The Gerdo mill employs 550 people.
I would venture a guess that 50% is going to put a big hit in doing business in the U.S.
Mayor Larry Johansson says he's remaining optimistic a trade deal can get done, but he's convinced, like Carney suggested last week, some form of tariff is here to stay.
A 10% tariff, that's what I would hope for. I don't think we're going to see zero. I really don't.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Last week, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced measures aimed at helping Canada's steel industry by restricting and reducing foreign steel imports. The man accused of hijacking a BC plane is now facing a second charge. According to BC online court records, there's a charge of damaging or interfering with the navigation system against Shahir Kassim. He was arrested last week after seizing control of a Cessna, then circling the plane over Vancouver's airport. He's expected to appear in court today. A new report out this morning says that taxes are the biggest expense for Canadian families. The report is from the Fraser Institute, and it says that an average family family in Canada spent about $38,000 in total taxes last year. The report also says that Canadian families spent more on taxes than on housing, food, and clothing combined. It says taxes have grown faster than any other expenditure for an average Canadian family, going up by more than 2,700% since 1961. Ahead of his meeting with the premiers today, Prime Minister Mark Carney met up with a group of U.S. senators on Monday.
We all want to get to August 1st and beyond with a resolve that works for Canada and works for the United States.
The group included both Republicans and Democrats. They say that they were in Ottawa as a show of support from Congress for a deal to end the trade war between Canada and the U.S. During their closed-door meeting, they talked about tariffs, the digital service tax, and Canadian softwood lumber. The senators called the meeting very constructive. The U.S. is introducing a visa integrity fee that will affect some travelers from Canada. The fee will be $250 U.S., but most Canadians won't be affected. Who is affected? Canadian permanent residents coming from countries without a U.S. visa waiver. Travelers who follow visa conditions can have the fee refunded after the trip is over. How's this for a close encounter of the unnerving kind? A Calgary couple's wedding anniversary hike turned into a frightening face-to-face with a grizzly bear.
The bear initially was pretty, it just was following us, but it started getting a bit more aggressive.
What do we do? What if he charges? What do I do? What do I do? And like my life actually did like flash.
The two admit that they were not properly prepared, and they said that they'll always carry bear spray with them now when hiking from now on. Chinese firm UB Tech has now unveiled the first humanoid robot, Walker S2, that changes its own batteries. When batteries are low, the robots walk over to a charging dock, remove the empty battery from their chest, place it on a charging dock, and insert a new one. Previously, the robots had limited function, typically only operating 4 hours at a time. The independent battery swapping now extends operation time, helps avoid delays, and eliminates the need for human assistance. Here's a look at Confusion Corner right now. If you're heading to work at 6:50, doesn't look too bad. CTV Morning WPG on X.
And here's a look now outside. No ominous looking clouds that we can see from this angle, although I bet if we glanced off to the west it might look a little bit darker, as that's where the activity that we're seeing right now, or south of us. But this is an east view, and that's probably the most promising of the views that we could see this morning. 15 degrees with north-northeast winds 5 kilometers per hour, the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 94%. Air quality warnings, they're in place still through much of northern central Manitoba. Off to the east, if it's not that, it's the advisory. Nothing like that through southern Manitoba, but probably later today those warnings will be issued, as the smoke will probably be ushered back in again as we deal with winds out of the north. Now, I mentioned the east probably being our best view, and there you can see that's where stuff isn't happening, but off to the west and to the south, all kind of closing in. So we will likely find ourselves right in the path of some storms. Much of southern Manitoba will. But for northern Manitoba, it's just the smoke. Unfortunately, you've got temperatures that are right in the zone of what you would expect this time of year. Low 20s, high teens. Churchill might be a little bit cleaner, a little bit fresher. Island Lake, you might be seeing some of those storms, but most of northern Manitoba is just going to deal with that thick, heavy smoke. It's not an ideal situation, and we're probably going to find ourselves with those same conditions coming back in again as these winds increase out of the north. First, it'll be the storms, but then those winds later today getting up to about 30 kilometers per hour and drawing all of that smoke back in. Low 20s are expected for today, slightly below seasonal. 26, that would be a normal daytime high through southern Manitoba. We'll get back to those numbers as the sunshine returns, and surpassing it big time as we look ahead to a hot weekend.
Thanks, Terry. There are growing concerns after recent social media posts warn 2 men convicted of killing women are active on dating apps in Alberta. The mother of one victim and some groups behind the warning posts say it's about protecting women. But legal experts say that it raises questions about privacy and vigilantism. CTV's Terry Fikowski reports.
ladies, be careful.
Warning circulating on social media about 2 men with violent pasts active on dating apps in Alberta. Women on Wings Society, a domestic violence support group, posted, "Ladies beware," after seeing a profile on Facebook dating for a man convicted of manslaughter and causing indignity to the body of a Calgary mother.
You know, if these women are not fully aware of the background of these men that are on these dating sites or who they're meeting, there's a lot of potential for danger there.
The victim's mother also worries women may unknowingly end up on a date with her daughter's killer.
Because to me, people don't change. Anyone that's been charged or incarcerated with causing bodily harm or causing death, they really should come with a warning.
Other posts, like this one by Lost Souls Media, warn of another man convicted of second-degree murder of a woman in BC, now living in Calgary and spotted on dating apps. But a criminal defense lawyer says these men have been released from prison and served their debt to society.
When they're done, they're done. And they are entitled to all the rights and privileges of any other Canadian.
How did he serve his time? He was sentenced to life in prison and did 7 years. He didn't serve his time.
CTV News is not identifying the men because while we've seen the dating profiles, we reached out to both men to confirm they were created by them and aren't fake accounts, but did not hear back. The social media posts are also concerning for this legal expert, who worries they could lead to vigilante action.
There have been lots of cases where individuals have misidentified someone, done harm to the person they've misidentified, and then face criminal charges themselves. So it's rolling the dice, and I don't think they should be doing that.
But to some, the warnings are warranted if they could possibly prevent another tragedy.
Me, her kids, her family, we get life. We get life without her.
A man in Edmonton is spending a little more than 2 days on a Ferris wheel, only getting off for bathroom breaks. CTV's Amanda Anderson explains how he plans to pull it off and why.
Chris Sheets is taking his love of amusement park rides to new heights on this Ferris wheel.
I didn't think I'd be nervous. I love rides, but I watched it doing a little bit of warm up today, and it's moving fairly quick and it's rocking back and forth. So
once the Ferris wheel gets started, Sheets is in store for the longest ride of his life. It's here he'll spend 54 consecutive hours.
This will be good to start 54 hours nice and soggy.
He's only allowed a 5-minute bathroom break each hour, and even when K-Day shuts down for the night, this is where he'll be.
At 11 o'clock, they're going to kind of keep me up in the air, and I'm just going to hang out there, literally hang out, and wait for it to start again the next day.
Not only does he hope to break the current world record of 53 consecutive hours on an amusement park ride, he's raising money for Alberta Dreams, an organization that provides wishes to kids with severe chronic or life-threatening illnesses.
Consecutive hours might probably get a little bit difficult, but again, the children that are going to be riding with me that we've had a chance to help through Alberta Dreams, their lives are always difficult, so 54 hours will be nothing for me.
The Otar family joined Sheets on the Ferris wheel for his first few rotations. Evie, who has cerebral palsy, was granted her wish for a swim spa last month.
To get her into a hot tub is just an out-of-this-world experience for her. She can relax, she can be free of gravity for a little bit, and she actually sleeps really well that night, which is really rare.
They hope to raise $54,000 to help grant 50 wishes this year.
People can come and they can ride with me. Of course, they can donate and show their support here on, and they can also go to albertadreams.ca to contribute.
His 54-hour ride will come to an end on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Winnipeg's favorite cultural celebration is back, and we want you to go. Folklorama returns from August 3rd to 16th, and we're giving you the chance to win a pair of 2 tour visas, giving you access to explore all 44 pavilions. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Enter that clue word, world. Good luck, everyone. Good morning, everybody. I hope your Tuesday's good so far. Fish flies. Have you been to the Interlake recently? I know I have, and I smelt it, I saw it, I even felt it. So coming up in about 30 minutes time, we're chatting with a researcher from the U of M about these insects and how they actually are maybe good for us. And I also heard that some people have been eating them. I need to be able to verify this, so we'll chat with him at 7:32. Here's your headlines first. Restaurants targeted by arsonists. Winnipeg police investigate a string of suspicious fires. Plus, new funding for overdose crisis response can help this van save lives in the streets of Atlantic Canada. And Jane Austen hits 250 in style, from Victorian ink to Netflix streams.
You know, I understand that they're an issue. I haven't been up lately myself. I was in, Gimli a couple weeks back before fish fly season.
It's a window.
Oh, it is a window. Yeah. And I get that we probably need to talk about it, but people are trying to have breakfast right now. And then we're like, oh.
Maybe they're eating fish flies. I heard that
Take
maybe
a
that's
closer
their
look
breakfast.
at what's on that spoon before you put it into your mouth. Little dose of protein for you. It's good for you, for sure. All right, outside this morning, 15 degrees, north-northeast winds, 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 94%. They're eating them dead, right? Dead. Well, we'll find out. Stay tuned. Smoke, it's still an issue. Northern, central Manitoba, that's where the heavy smoke warnings remain in place with the slightly downgraded advisory. That's the yellow that you're seeing, but I wouldn't be surprised if later on into the afternoon we too find ourselves under that heavy smoky haze, because we've got these winds out of the north, pardon me. They were out of the south yesterday, so we've got that slightly cleaner air still left over from that. But a light north wind will become a stronger north wind, drawing that smoke back in again. But that's more for later this afternoon. This morning's event will be all about the storms. Showers, thunderstorms, you can see them right along that international line and making their way toward much of, well, southern Manitoba, including us here in Winnipeg. So we will probably find ourselves right in the path of that, continuing through the morning hours and then through the afternoon. Even though the storms will have passed, the winds will be increasing, drawing that smoke in. And for much of central and northern Manitoba, it's just going to be a smoky day for you and a smoky afternoon here in the south with those stronger winds and some slightly cooler temperatures. That's the other thing. We're going to get back to feeling the heat again, especially by the time the weekend rolls around. With a slow climb through the week, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud here after today. Today's the last day of some likely precipitation and then smoky conditions through the afternoon. Temperatures on the rise, and yes, it does look like it'll be hot as we're looking ahead to the weekend. 11-year-old Trinity, thank you for sharing your art with us. We would love to see more of it. Please send your pictures to us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks for that, Terry. Winnipeg police are investigating a number of intentionally set restaurant fires. In the span of just a few weeks, at least 3 restaurants have been damaged by arsonists. Police have made no arrests. And as CTV's Danton Unger shows you, for at least one restaurant owner, the damage is a little too tough to digest.
Security video shows the break-in at Tita Thai's restaurant on Donald Street. The video, posted on Facebook by a member of the owner's family, appears to show a man smashing through the window with a hammer before attempting to light an object on fire. According to the post, this happened around 4:18 a.m. on July 4th. Winnipeg police told CTV News the incident is being investigated as a commercial break-and-enter. In another incident, a restaurant on Main Street was also vandalized.
They smashed these windows here.
Commonwealth Kitchen and bar owner Nicola Maharaj says it happened on July 10th around 4:50 a.m.
Somebody walked by, shopping cart, brick, gasoline, a couple other items, broke a few of our windows with the brick, and then the window that kind of broke right through, they threw, it looked like a cracker box or something like that was on fire. Lit the booth on fire inside.
He says the sprinklers put out the flames but caused extensive flooding and damage, forcing him to close the restaurant for at least 6 months.
It's not the first time we've had our windows damaged. When we took over, there was damage. It's kind of just seems like a natural part of being in downtown Winnipeg, unfortunately. It just happens all the time.
Police confirm this incident is being investigated as arson. And in another incident, West End Thai restaurant May Sunny was also burned in a fire on July 18th, which police say is being investigated as arson. Police tell CTV News at this time it cannot confirm if the incidents are linked and said no arrests have been made. Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
CTV News has reached out to the family that owns Tita's and May Sunny. We are waiting to hear back. 3 teenage boys have been charged after another teen was attacked with a machete and robbed inside CF Polo Park on Friday evening. Police say that the 14-year-old male victim was shopping at the mall when he was approached by the suspects. The victim was hit several times with a machete, and the attack continued after he fell to the ground. The suspects then robbed him before running from the scene. Police say that the victim suffered a significant injury to his hand and was taken to hospital in stable condition. Police arrested the suspects at a nearby restaurant shortly after. 3 male teens aged 13, 14, and 15 are charged with robbery. The 15-year-old was released on an undertaking, while the other 2 suspects remain in custody. New York State Police have now charged the father of a 9-year-old Montreal girl found dead with second-degree murder.
I never knew him as anyone that would give us any hint or any idea that he could become violent.
Luciano Fultonin reported his daughter Melina missing on Saturday night. He told police she was abducted by 2 men in a white van. Now police say that they believe that Fultonin killed his daughter and left her in a remote area before reporting the abduction. Her body was found by authorities in a shallow pond in Ticonderoga, New York. They had been on vacation in the States since July 11th. Police say that Melina's mother was aware of the trip, and she says she had no concerns for her daughter's safety. Ratolin has also been charged with concealment of human remains. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf at his arraignment hearing yesterday. 4 projects in Atlantic Canada fighting the overdose crisis will have new financial support from Ottawa.
Communities know what they need to address this crisis. They have the insight to identify what will work for them.
The federal government announced $2.8 million in funding to programs in Fredericton, Miramichi, Amherst, and St. John's. One of the projects that received support is the John Howard Society's overnight outreach van. The van is stocked with supplies used to help an average of 30 people a night. Money for the projects comes from Ottawa's Emergency Treatment Fund. A terrifying close call for a driver on a highway in northern Ontario. It happened near Sudbury on the weekend and was all caught on dash cam. Watch as the driver heading the wrong way forces 2 drivers to swerve off of the road and into the dirt to avoid a collision. No one was hurt and police have been notified. A close call in the skies over North Dakota forced a Delta flight to make a quick dodge to avoid a mid-air collision.
I looked over and saw the airplane that was kind of coming on a converging course with us. Sorry about the aggressive maneuver. It caught me by surprise. This is not normal at all.
The pilot of the passenger jet heading from Minneapolis to North Dakota apologizing for the move after a B-52, the biggest bomber in the U.S. Air Force, performed a flyover close by. The pilot claims that he didn't get a heads up about the air traffic.
All of a sudden, we just kind of jerk really hard to the right. He just kept taking more turns and more turns, and he gets on the announcement and says, like, I'm sorry, everybody. I'll explain everything once we've landed safely.
It's still not clear how close the 2 planes came to each other. The Air Force is investigating the incident. Israel is pushing forward with its operation in central Gaza. Smoke can be seen rising from Deir al-Balah this morning. This comes a day after Israeli tanks entered the southern and eastern parts of the city for the first time. Israel's army had mostly stayed out of these districts, saying that there could be hostages being held in the area. As Israel pushes on, Canada and 26 other nations have signed on a joint statement calling for the end of the war in Gaza. Jane Austen fans are making 250 years since her birth. They're marking that. This house in Hampshire in the UK countryside was her home, where she wrote her Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, and other classics over a span of about 8 years. The house is now a museum where fans gather to pay tribute to her work. In case you needed more Jane Austen in your life, Emma Corrin, Jack Lowden, and Olivia Colman are now filing a new version of Pride and Prejudice for Netflix. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along Kenston and Sterling Lyon, it looks like a smooth drive. If you have any traffic tips, let us know. CTV Morning WPG. Joining us once again is Joseph Bernacki. Good morning, Joseph. What are we learning now?
Good morning, Ainsley, and good morning, Manitoba. Yeah, as Ainsley mentioned throughout the show, we've been at Lower Fort Garry today. It's been a great morning so far. We're standing inside the big house. This is the office, one of many rooms here in this giant space. Coming up throughout the show in the 7 o'clock hour in about 20 minutes time, we're going to be talking about Treaty 1 Commemoration Day. It's a special event happening August 3rd, as well as on August 16th. They're going to be having the Transpo Expo. It's going to be a British car show here. Excuse me. Should be really interesting to see, of course. With the Canada Strong Pass, admission is free into many Parks Canada sites, including Lower Fort Garry. And with it being so close to Winnipeg, great opportunity to bring the family, learn a little bit of the history of this space, and have many interesting conversations with the guest speakers and the people, of course, that work here for Parks Canada. So we're going to be back in about 20 minutes' time, learning a little bit more about the history and having many great conversations. So keep it locked on CTV Morning Live.
Thank you, Joseph. Terry, it looks a lot nicer this morning than it did yesterday. No umbrella.
No umbrella yet, but I suspect that the storms that are going to pass over us within an hour or so later this morning will be far more spectacular than that light bit of rain that we saw yesterday morning. 16 degrees. I can still see the brightest sky just to the northeast of the city, but heavier clouds are building up and it's starting to look a little darker, grayer, and a little more ominous as those storms get closer to us. 16 right now, as I mentioned, but it's the winds that are already starting to increase. Not that a 9K wind is strong at all. It's the direction and the fact that it will be getting stronger later today. So it's coming from the north-northwest right now. Pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 96%. And then, yes, later this afternoon, those winds will be increasing to about 30 kilometers per hour, still out of the north. That'll be on the other side of the precipitation that's going to be passing through. So first through the morning, through southern Manitoba, showers, thunderstorms expected. And then through the afternoon, the smoke that'll be increasing. Heavy smoke remains in areas through northern and central Manitoba. Still, our maps, the warning map, lit up all purple regarding that heavy smoke. And with those winds increasing out of the north, it's only going to draw that smoke in again. And then we're probably going to deal with those north winds overnight and through tomorrow as well. Even though tomorrow may be back to the sunshine, it'll probably still be a little bit smoky.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Manitoba's Sunflower Festival is turning 60 this year, and it inspired our question of the day. What's the one thing that you always look forward to at Manitoba Summer Festivals? Send us a text because our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so we want you to text that number. It's 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, and whether they're furry, feathered, or even scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing. We even want to see more of them. So whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. Catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is the Pet of the Week. Here's a live look at the Provencher Bridge. No traffic delays. The sun is kind of shining. We'll see you guys soon. Good morning at 7:15. Hot, dry conditions over the weekend intensified wildfire activity throughout Manitoba, and thick smoke blanketing the air isn't helping either. The province says it's keeping an eye on fires nearing the Liger River, Generation Station, Kettle Rapids Dam, Garden Hill, Leaf Rapids, and Snow Lake.
We have seen very scattered precipitation, so if we don't get the precipitation, we expect fire activity to continue to remain fairly active on those fires where it has been in recent days.
Officials say that the wildfire risk remains high to very high in eastern and northern Manitoba, with some areas at extreme danger. But despite those dry conditions, the province says crews made good progress on fires near Thompson, Cross Lake, Split Lake, and Flin Flon over the weekend. However, smoky conditions have prompted widespread air quality statements and warnings. They're impacting firefighting efforts, especially from the air.
Definitely when there's heavy smoke, it makes it difficult for our water bombers to take off or land. They need good visibility to safely conduct their operations. It's also an issue sometimes for the helicopters, depending on how low that smoke is. So we've had challenges getting crews out to areas of the fire where we would need access through helicopter, as well as just being able to bucket using a helicopter. It has been limited by smoke as well.
The province says that there are 120 wildfires burning as of Monday morning. That's 2 fewer than Friday. Meantime, more than 13,000 Manitobans are currently evacuated because of the wildfires. They're occupying around 2,500 hotel rooms and 840 shelter beds. A scary moment caught on camera for a family's pet dog in the Philippines. As a massive boulder rolled from the mountainside and onto the driveway, the black aspen survived, sprinting to safety seconds before it crushed her metal cage and a nearby car. Video shows her emerging from behind the massive rock and darting across the road. This hotel may not be the fanciest in the world, but it serves as an important purpose. This is the Seagull Hotel near Vardo on the coast of Norway. It's there to give seabirds in the area a safe space to nest, which is critical for the birding facing growing threats from climate change, predators, and disease. Norway's north coast is famous for its diversity and seabirds, and demand for the Seagull Hotel is growing. First, there were 55 nests. Now there are 76, with plans of hopefully expanding soon. Taking a look at the traffic situation along St. Mary's Road, it's 7:18 and volumes are certainly picking up. Here's your entertainment news. Ballet in the Park returns to the Lyric Theatre for the first time under the direction of Christopher Stoll. The popular series will run on Wednesday through Friday at Assiniboine Park. Free performances offer a glimpse of the new 2025-26 season and a new chapter for the company under its new artistic director. Fans will be treated to a creative movement class and 3 pieces from the school's recreational division. But the main event is an excerpt from Tull, the Wild Man of the Woods, which will be performed in full by the RWBs this coming winter. It follows an Indigenous legend about a young woman on her quest to rescue her sister from a dark figure. Warm up your vocal cords. An interactive show will make a stop here in Winnipeg this fall. Choir, Choir, Choir blends community, comedy, and song with audience members helping provide the show's vocals. Their November 17th show at the Burton Cummings Theatre will pay a one-of-a-kind choral tribute to Queen, including hits like Bohemian Rhapsody and We Are the Champions. Tickets for the sing-along are available through Ticketmaster. Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, he has passed away.
Help yourself at home and get the peanut butters and the celery's in the kitchen. Just don't leave.
Warner reportedly drowned while on vacation in Costa Rica with his family. He was a teenager when he was cast as Bill Cosby's son in the hit sitcom, which ran from 1984 to 1992. Warner also won a Grammy in 2015 for his work as a singer. He most recently hosted a podcast. Malcolm Jamal Warner was 54 years old. Bryan Adams is asking for a little more understanding on his latest single. He released the first track from his upcoming album, Roll with the Punches. The song is called A Little More Understanding and urges listeners to find common ground. You can see Bryan live in Toronto this fall. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 7 with E-Talk, followed by The Amazing Race Canada at 9. Then Battle of the Generations wraps up at 10, all right here on CTV. Terry, outside, I'm really looking forward to the sun poking out.
Yeah, and it likely will later today, but as it pokes out, the smoke will be an issue by then, Ainsley. We're probably not going to be seeing much more sunshine through the morning hours as the heavier clouds have already started to stack up. You can see that now looking through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. So yes, first the clouds, then the storms, then the smoke. As the storms clear, that would be our sunniest chance. But by then, I likely think that we're going to be dealing with that smoke starting to move right back in again. We did have a nice break from it. I'll talk about the warnings map in a second. We're sitting slightly above seasonal right now. 16, 17, 18 degrees. Those are the average temps through much of southern Manitoba. A little bit milder. Sprague, Kenora coming in at 20 degrees. For northern Manitoba, double digits, mid-teens for some. Northern Manitoba, that's where the heaviest of the smoke is going to be today. Well, not the most northern part, but you can see north and north central Manitoba still under this heavy smoke advisory. And then into the south, we're probably going to notice more of that moving back in again. We lucked in with south winds yesterday, helping to clear some of that. And now this morning, the bigger issue will be the round of storms that you can see are starting to close in on us. Showers, thunderstorms all across southern Manitoba. That'll last through the morning and then the smoke into the afternoon. Temperatures as they rise today, high teens by midday, but only into the low 20s once we're reaching our expected high. So not only will it be stormy and then smoky, a little bit below seasonal as well. 26 degrees is normal for this time of year. We'll eventually getting back and then surpass those numbers. It will be a hot weekend ahead and perhaps a little stormy too. We have to show off little LMA. She's a brand new addition to the stables out at Sandy Ridge. So thank you to Kevin for this picture. And keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Before he headed to Muskoka, Mark Carney met with a group of U.S. senators who traveled to Ottawa in an attempt to find common ground in this ongoing trade war. Here's CTV's Mike LeCouture.
The group of senators say they came to build bridges, not to throw wrenches, as Canada and the U.S. attempt to hammer out a trade agreement. And they felt positive following back-to-back meetings with Prime Minister Mark Carney and Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand.
She says we have a framework within that we wish to operate. We have the frame, we need to make it work.
The senators said they discussed contentious issues like the digital services tax, which Canada paused, and the decades-long dispute over Canadian softwood lumber exports.
I think we now have a clear idea of how to proceed, and that's to build around some sort of quota arrangement. And the Prime Minister said he was open to that.
How'd it go?
It was good.
Good meeting?
It was good. It was a very good meeting. Thank you very much.
Carney was tight-lipped after the 45-minute meeting, but the minister in charge of trade with the U.S. was upbeat before sitting down with the same group of senators.
Do you think we're going to get a deal with the United States?
Hope so.
Can we get a deal that doesn't include tariffs on them?
We're not going to discuss all this stuff.
Now, asked if they believe a tariff-free deal is possible, Senator Murkowski said that's up to negotiators.
We all want to get to August 1st and beyond with a resolve that works for Canada and works for the United States.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that deadline and the threat of a 35% surtax will help focus the minds of trading partners.
I would think that a higher tariff level will put more pressure on those countries to come with better agreements.
To get that done, senior Canadian officials, including Carney's new chief of staff, Marc-André Blanchard, were in Washington last week, and Minister LeBlanc is heading there this week.
It's that time of year again, and CTV and Chicken Chef want to know, how are you soaking up the Manitoba sunshine? Whether you're roasting marshmallows under the stars, dancing at your favorite festival, we want to see all of it, all those special moments to make your summer shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize. You'll also be in the running for daily draws and tasty surprises from Chicken Chef. Plus, you could win one of 4 250 gift cards, dollars from Wine Sense to snap that perfect shot and share your summer with us. Coming up at 7:28, Joseph Bernacki is live from Lower Fort Garry. Stick with us. Lots of programming, events, and activities at Lower Fort Garry this summer. That's where Joseph Bernacki is. And it looks like you're outside the big house, Joseph.
We are, Ainsley. Yeah, good morning, Winnipeg. At this time, I'm very pleased to be joined by Marc-André Belcourt. He is the Interpretation Officer with Parks Canada, and he spends a lot of time at Lower Fort Garry. Pleasure to have you on our show.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about where we're standing right now with respect to the big house here at Lower Fort Garry.
So at the moment, we're standing at the southeast corner of the big house, and it's somewhat of a significant place for us because this is it's relating to the only depiction of the creation of or the negotiation of Treaty 1. So Treaty 1 is the first number treaty that in the series of number treaties that are created eventually in Western Canada, and a negotiation took place in many places, but this is the only depiction that we currently have, and this and we're kind of sitting where some of the Crown representatives
we're standing.
We're standing kind of where the Crown representatives were standing back 150 some years ago, to overlooking the conversation between the First Nation groups that would have been here back then.
And on August 3rd, you guys are going to be having Treaty 1 Commemoration Day. Talk to me a little bit what that's going to look like here at the fort.
So on Treaty 3rd, which is a Sunday, we invite everybody to come and join us to learn about treaty and places of treaties here in Canada. We're really lucky that we have a number of members of the Treaty 1 community joining us. Ruth Christie, Carl Smith are amongst the people joining us to teach us about various First Nation traditions and essentially allowing the public to discover part of the First Nation culture that is attached closely attached to the story of Lower Fort Garry here.
And give me a quick word before we wrap up, Marc-Andre, on the Big House and its significance.
Yeah, the Big House is the most significant, the biggest building here at Lower Fort Garry. It was built in the early 1830s by George Simpson. It was supposed to be his residence, but he never really stayed here all of that much because his wife wasn't overly fond of living here. But it is a place, the focal point of the site, and the place where any important people that would come and visit the site or live on site would be housed.
Well, very interesting history. Of course, Marc-Andre is going to join us a little later on the show. Stay tuned. We'll be back from Lower Fort Garry at 7:42.
Thank you, Joseph. Terry, last night it was beautiful out.
It was.
I was surprised because, you know, we spend the morning here and you had an umbrella, but then at night it was great.
I know, but even before I went out for my evening stroll, I kind of hung tight a little bit because weather got a little bit spectacular through the supper hour. I mean, there were tornado warnings and watches and severe thunderstorm watches and warnings, and everything seemed to be popping up. And sure, a spectacular storm just kind of rolled over so quickly, though. It was gone before you knew it, and then it cleared out nicely, and it was a pleasant evening. Well, we also had those winds out of the south yesterday, and that made for pleasant air quality. And unfortunately, that has changed as those winds have shifted back out of the north-northwest. They're on the lighter side now, but will be increasing through the day. The clouds have also increased now. We're sitting at 16 degrees with the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 96%. So with those clouds, and then, yes, that change in direction of winds, Northern Manitoba has still, you never did get that clearing yesterday that southern Manitoba experienced with those south winds, so the heavy smoke warnings remain in place through much of central and northern Manitoba. And then with those winds shifting back out of the north for later today, we could notice that smoke moving right back in again. But first, it's the storms that we're keeping an eye on, and they do look pretty spectacular. As I back up here, you can see them through the southwest and right along this border, now moving into parts of Manitoba, right along that line. Showers, thunderstorms, but then a smoky afternoon as winds increase up to 30 clicks. The temperatures themselves staying a little bit cool today. We're going to get back up to seasonal, dropping to normal overnight. Tomorrow in the mid-20s, a mix of sun and cloud, but yes, the smoke will probably still remain. And from there, it only continues to heat up. Mercury getting pretty hot once we're looking ahead to the weekend.
Thanks, Terry. If you've spent any time near Lake Winnipeg, Gimli, Manitoba, for example, you may have noticed a blanket of something that flutters all over cars, roads, and buildings. While they don't have the best smell, there are benefits to these Manitoba insects. Joining me now is Associate Professor of Entomology, Jason Gibbs. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
So it's always this time of year that they come out. Why this window specifically?
Well, these are called mayflies or fish flies locally, and they are a very abundant group of insects that live in aquatic environments, streams, rivers, and lakes. And they have these sort of mass emergences in some cases. It depends on the species, what time of year they come out, but they're very short-lived. They don't even have functional mouth parts as adults. They come out only to make more mayflies, and then they kind of disappear.
And just the sheer volume of them we can see in some photographs here. Why so many?
Well, I mean, some species you don't see as often, but species especially that are associated with lakes, they just have huge numbers that are living underground in the water, and then they all come out at the same time in order to mate, and they do that over a very short time scale. So in other groups of insects, they might be a little bit more spread out over space and time, but for these mayflies, it's all at once.
And what are we seeing this year? Is there a flow of it year to year? Are we noticing any trends?
Well, it's pretty typical for any sort of insect population to have fluctuations over time. So we have these sort of boom and bust years. And so that's a pretty common phenomenon.
And over time, have we noticed any trends? What have your findings been?
Well, I think, we like to use mayflies and some other aquatic insects to monitor the quality of stream health. And so a healthy community is a sign that the water quality is sufficient. These are important parts to the ecosystem. And so it's good that we see lots of mayflies.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the pneumouths, but they can't sting or harm anyone.
No, they're perfectly harmless, and they're edible. So if you want, you can have a snack if you see a bunch of mayflies.
That was my next question, actually. I've seen some posts, and I'm sure you hear this as well. How often is that people are eating them? Is this a common occurrence?
I mean, in some communities in the world, it's more common than others, but I think it's kind of a bit of a niche dish. But people, they can be a little bit nutty, they can be a little earthy flavor. Some people say they taste like buttery popcorn. Probably depends on the mayfly and the person. But if you want to try them, the recommended strategy is to just hold them by the wings and just bite off the body.
So live?
You can think of it. You can eat them alive. Yeah, you can eat them alive, or you can prepare them, put them in a stir fry or something. But they're very high in protein. They're taste good enough. And if you think that's a little bit strange, just think of them as being a very small shrimp.
Okay. I've heard that they are attracted to light. Could this be why that they would flock to a center like a Gimli or somewhere with a storefront, for example, with the light?
Oh yeah, that certainly could be. Lots of insects are attracted to light. It's a common way that entomologists collect insects is they put out lights at nighttime and insects flock to them. So that's very possible.
And currently, like you mentioned, the health of the lake, is there anything else that you want people to know before we're out of time?
Well, I mean, occasionally things like this might seem like a bit of a nuisance, but I mean, I think we can appreciate biodiversity and have enjoy these sort of insects that aren't really doing us any harm. They're just going to come and go. And if you're a brave soul, you can, next time you see something, just take a bite.
I don't think I'm that brave. Jason, thank you so much.
Yep.
Outside, it's currently 16 degrees. Coming up, we've got more news, weather, and traffic.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Looking out at those heavier clouds, it's 16 degrees right now in Winnipeg. The winds are light, but they're out of the north-northwest, just 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 96%. If it's not the storms, it'll be the smoke, and it's mostly the smoke through much of northern Manitoba, central Manitoba, and in areas just off to the east. The downgraded version of it is the smoke advisory, or a statement that has been issued by Environment Canada. That was all lifted here across the south yesterday as we were lucking in with winds out of the south. Today, not so lucky winds out of the north, and they will be increasing through the day. But before all the smoke gets drawn in, we'll have these storms passing over us. You can see just how active it's looking right now on the satellite image all across southern Manitoba. Parts of central Manitoba might see that as well, but further into the north, it's just going to be the smoke. Heavy smoke. Low 20 temperatures. As far as the mercury goes, that's pretty much normal for this time of year. A little bit clearer, brighter up in Churchill. The smoke won't be affecting you the same way, but most of northern Manitoba, it will be pretty unpleasant with that heavy smoke lingering. Central Manitoba, you might also deal with some smoke, or southern Manitoba, the smoke will be later on this afternoon. First, a round of precipitation with showers and thunderstorms, and slightly cooler below seasonal temperatures are expected, topping out at about 21 degrees here in Winnipeg, when 26 would be a normal daytime high all across southern Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. You too likely to see all of that activity with the weather, the showers and the thunderstorms this morning, and then unfortunately smoke increasing overnight and through tomorrow. Still tomorrow, north winds are expected. We will see clearer conditions though as the sunshine is back behind that smoke, and the temperatures start to rise as well, so that heat will also be back as we're looking ahead to the coming weekend.
Joseph Bernanke's at Lower Fort Garry, and I understand you're whipping up some breakfast, Joseph.
We certainly are, Ainsley. Yeah, we're standing in the bakehouse this morning. I'm very pleased to be joined by Sarah Antimus. She is an interpretation coordinator here at Parks Canada. Pleasure to have you on our show this morning, Sarah.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise. So what are we doing this morning? What's happening?
We are making some Bannock. So Bannock is a First Nations bread, is a European bread, and is definitely something that would have been used during the fur trade here at Lower Fort Garry.
And this is something that any guest can come do here?
Oh, for sure, for sure. On Mondays and Tuesdays at 10:30 and at 2:30. Folks of all ages and all abilities are welcome to come make some Bannock. Yeah.
So that's later today then. Today's Tuesday.
It looks like it, yeah, so come on down.
and talk to us a little bit about the work that goes into making Bannock here.
Yeah, for sure. So we have some flour here. We have some baking powder. We have a little bit of water, because that's always important. And then we have some salt. Now, you mix all these ingredients together, but you're missing a really key one, and that's one that folks are really going to be disappointed if you don't put in there, and that's butter. So you're going to add all your dry ingredients together. You're going to add in your butter or lard. You're going to mix it all up, and then you're going to put it on one of these pans right here. And so this one is all hot and ready to go. And so what we do, all we need to do is just kind of put the rest of the ingredients in, mix it up, and then cook it, and hopefully eat it at the end.
And the process takes, give or take, how many minutes would you say?
It's an hour program. So the process itself would take probably about half an hour, and then the rest of the half hour is you get to learn about the site, you get to learn about Bannock, you get to try your hand at some other heritage things. So
what are some of the other activities, Sarah, that you look forward to hosting for people here at the fort?
On Thursdays and Fridays, we have what's called a cold forging blacksmithing program. We call it Simon Says Blacksmithing, where you get to take home a little keepsake at the end of it. Again, that's 10:30 and 2:30 every Thursdays and Fridays. And then Saturdays, Sundays, we have a candle making program. So you get to try your hand at making some candles for the winter. And hopefully you don't have to sit in a cold, dark room.
Before I let you go, Sarah, what have you enjoyed the most about the last few years that you've spent getting to work here at Lower Fort Garry?
Yeah, I really love chatting with folks. I love talking to people of all ages. The light in their eyes as they're learning something new is just something that you can't describe. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate your enthusiasm, of course, as well. And we'll be back in the 8 o'clock hour from Lower Fort Garry. We're hopefully having some Bannock as well. So stay tuned here on CTV Morning Live.
Thank you, Joseph. A new program at a Winnipeg homeless shelter hopes to help addicts get their addictions under control. Silo Mission is now offering an in-house opioid therapy known as OAT treatment to its clients.
It is an opioid-based treatment, and so it fills the receptors in the brain to help people with cravings, withdrawal symptoms, and then not need to supplement with things that they may purchase off the street.
Patients who want to get clean get a controlled dose of methadone to help reduce cravings. The mission has a nurse practitioner and a pharmacist who visit the center and oversee the program. Offering OAT treatment in-house means Silo's clients no longer have to travel to get the help they need.
For a lot of our community members, leaving the area is pretty difficult to access services, so having it here in our building is going to be huge for community members who might not otherwise access the treatment elsewhere.
Clients can access help 7 days a week. The program isn't publicly funded and relies entirely on private funding. Here's a live look at the St. James Bridge. Traffic flows look pretty good at this time of the morning. Let us know if you see otherwise. CTV Morning WPG. Taking a look at our gas prices, the Canadian average stands at $1.36. The provincial average lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29. The lowest price in the city, $1.19. All the information here, gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. It is the Red Sox and Phillies providing a rare ending to their game. Bottom 10 here, tied at 2. Edmundo Sosa at the dish, bases loaded. Checks his swing on a pitch outside, but the Philly dugout immediately challenged for catcher's interference. Now on the replay, it looks like Sosa's bat does hit the glove of catcher Carlos Narvaez's glove, and after review, that is what the command center does rule. The Phillies awarded home plate for the walk-off win on catcher's interference. It's only the second time in the divisional era a game has ended this way. The first since 1971. It's been a minute. That right there, your must-see moment. Meanwhile, tonight on TSN, the Fever visit the Liberty in WNBA action. Caitlin Clark has been ruled out Well, New York will get 2024 Finals MVP Jonquil Jones back from injury. Tip-off of that game goes at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's all for now from the Sports Center Newsroom. Enjoy the basketball and have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
All right, finally got that umbrella out. I barely need it. I mean, the rain is so light at this time, but we're likely to see it increasing. By the looks of the storms that we've been keeping our eye on the satellite image, yeah, it could be pretty active for an hour or two through the morning. And then later on this afternoon, unfortunately, the smoke will be coming back again quite likely. And that's all due to the winds, which are light right now, but they are out of the north-northwest, 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 96%. 16 degrees to begin the day. Our temperatures are above seasonal, but only to begin the day, because later on this afternoon, with the lack of sunshine, we're not likely to see those temperatures getting close to what is normal for this time of year, topping out instead in the in the low 20s, when 26 degrees would be normal here through southern Manitoba. Now, southern Manitoba is not dealing with the heavy smoke, as central and northern Manitoba remain under that warning, but we are being warned that later on this afternoon, that smoke will likely be increasing as the winds increase out of the north, drawing more of that smoke back in again. And then for the rest of the week, drier conditions are expected, hotter conditions are expected. We're seeing a return to the sunshine as early as tomorrow, but the haze will likely linger as those temperatures continue to rise.
Thanks, Terry. Winnipeg's favorite cultural celebration is back, and we want you to go. Folklorama returns from August 3rd to 16th, and we're giving you the chance to win a pair of 2 tour visas, giving you access to explore all 44 pavilions. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Enter that clue word world. Good luck. Canada's most decorated female Olympian faces the possibility of a multi-year ban from swimming over accusations she failed to report her whereabouts for drug testing. Penny Oleksiak says she's always been a clean athlete, but will be out of the competition as the doping rule violation is investigated. CTV's Sean Lathong explains.
Penny Oleksiak has accepted a voluntary suspension for a whereabouts failure with the International Testing Agency.
It's a fundamental component of the anti-doping program, and therefore the seriousness of a whereabouts violation is not significantly different than a presence violation or any of the other violations that exist.
A whereabouts failure is not a failed test. The World Anti-Doping Agency defines it as any combination of 3 missed tests or filing failures in a 12-month period. Athletes who are in the registered testing pool are expected to follow strict guidelines from the World Anti-Doping Agency to allow for testing at any time. Athletes must provide address and contact information, regular activities such as training, work, and school, competition schedules, and a 60-minute time slot for each day where they'll be available and accessible for testing.
And the consequences of a whereabouts violation range from a period of eligibility from 2 years down to 1 year.
The 25-year-old Toronto native will have the opportunity to explain the whereabouts failures. Oleksiak withdrew from the World Aquatic Championships in early July. In a statement, she said, in part, "I want to emphasize that this whereabouts case does not involve any banned substance. It's about whether I updated my information correctly, and I am and always have been a clean athlete and will be making no further comment at this time."
I don't know if necessarily Canadians know how invasive WADA protocols are and how easily a whereabouts violation could theoretically occur.
Taylor McKee with the Sport Management Program at Brock University says there are plenty of opportunities for error in situations like this.
You have to provide your whereabouts every single day for 3 months at a time. And you have to give them an hour every single day, a time slot that they could theoretically come and test you during that period.
He says of the over 800 whereabouts failures in the past year, 313 were dismissed after explanation. McKee says it's rare for an athlete of Oleksiak's stature to have an infraction like this. Swimming Canada said in a statement, "We support her decision and believe she is a clean athlete who made an administrative mistake." Sean Lathong, CTV News.
Private zoo in Romania has welcomed a lion-tiger cub named Goliath.
I want that done. I want that done. I want that done.
The Liger was born to a lion dad and a tiger mom. He may be cute, but the hybrid cub is raising concerns over health risks and ethical questions about interspecies breeding. Goliath was born with a sister who did not survive, but he is 2 months old and going strong. It seems Kelly Clarkson has passed down her vocal chops. This is my heartbeat song. Clarkson and her daughter River Rose sang on the stage together during her Vegas residency show. They performed Heartbeat Song. Rose is 11 and she says that this is her favorite song from her mom's music catalog. This isn't Rose's first time on stage with her mom though. She sang this year's song 2 years ago. Clarkson will be back on stage at the Coliseum on Friday. Coming up at 8:06, Joseph Bernacki is live from Lower Fort Garry. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Good morning. The Winnipeg Sea Bears season continues, and we want you to be a part of the action. The Sea Bears will be taking on the Saskatchewan Rattlers on August 1st and the Niagara Lions on August 6th. So if you want to be in the stands, we've got the contest for you. CTV Morning Live is giving away a family pack of 4 tickets to give away to the game. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Hit the contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. And it's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy birthday to Andre from Papa, your family, and friends. Happy 4th birthday to Miles. Love from your mom and family. Happy 23rd birthday to Jackson. Love, mom, dad, and family. Happy 75th birthday to Diane with love from your family. Happy 80th birthday to Kunchi, Marge. Love from Cheryl, Ron, and grandkids. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
Good morning, Manitoba, and happy Tuesday. If you're not sure what festival to go to next, 60 years of Manitoba's Sunflower Festival in Altona, and they're bringing back a few throwbacks that people from years prior might remember. So coming up at 8:45, we'll tell you all about it. First, here's a look at your headlines. Restaurant arsons. How many Winnipeg establishments have experienced suspicious fires and vandalism lately? Summit meeting in cottage country. Premiers will assemble today for a sit-down with the Prime Minister. And these vintage underground cars, they're 80+ years old. They're back on the rails in Britain to mark a milestone. Outside, Terry, it really has felt up and down.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, we've had really active weather through yesterday around supper time, and more very active weather expecting to be passing through much of southern Manitoba this morning. 16 degrees right now. We've got winds out of the north-northwest. They're on the lighter side, just 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity at 96%. So first we'll talk about the smoke, because northern and central Manitoba, you remain under that heavy smoke warning with the slightly downgraded advisory. That's the yellow that you're seeing there. Now, that was lifted across southern Manitoba. You remember how heavy the smoke was over the weekend. Yesterday, we had winds out of the south. Air quality improved somewhat. Now those winds have shifted back out of the north. They're on the lighter side now, but will be increasing through the day, likely drawing more of that smoke back in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we too find ourselves under those smoke warnings later on into the day. Now, this morning though, it's the storms, and we're watching, just when I was up on the rooftop about 10 minutes ago, just the first little bit of light shower activity. But you can see it's about to get a whole lot more active, might even keep me inside. I'm not going to be standing out there with the risk of a lightning bolt striking me. So we'll see how close that is, but I'm supposed to head back up to the rooftop. But yes, passing through these morning hours, that risk of storms is there. And then that will continue to pass on by, clearing out somewhat, but clearing as far as the clouds go, maybe not the smoke. Smoke is only likely to increase as those winds increase out of the north. Now, tomorrow, a little bit of precipitation, very scattered, patchy showers through parts of central, maybe southern Manitoba. For us here in the southeast, it looks to remain on the drier side. And for northern Manitoba, it's going to be on the drier side for you as well. Dry but smoky smoky, and we might notice that smoke again tomorrow, with the heat ramping up as we're looking ahead to a hot weekend. Trinity, 11 years old, thank you for sharing your art with us, and we're going to be needing more art submissions, so please send them to us. Draw, color, paint, whatever it may be. Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks for that, Terry. Winnipeg police are investigating a number of intentionally set restaurant fires in just the span of a few weeks. At least 3 restaurants have been damaged by arsonists. Police have made no arrests. This security video posted on Facebook shows the break-in at Tina's Thai restaurant on Donald Street. It appears to show a man smashing through the window with a hammer before attempting to light an object on fire. According to the Post, this happened at around 4:18 a.m. on July 4th. In another incident, just before 5 a.m. on July 10th, a restaurant on Main Street was also vandalized.
Somebody walked by, shopping cart, brick, gasoline, a couple other items, broke a few of our windows with the brick, and then the window that kind of broke right through, they threw, it was looked like a cracker box or something like that was on fire, lit the booth on fire inside.
Owner Nicola Maharaj expects to be closed for 6 months as they repair the damage. CTV News has reached out to the family that owns Tita's Thai restaurant and May Sunny, and we are waiting to hear back. 3 teenage boys have been charged after another teen was attacked with a machete and robbed inside CF Polo Park on Friday evening. Police say that the 14-year-old male victim was shopping at the mall when he was approached by the suspects. The victim was hit several times with a machete, and the attack continued after he fell to the ground. The suspects then robbed him before running from the scene. Police say that the victim suffered a significant injury to his hand and was taken to hospital in stable condition. Police arrested the suspects at a nearby restaurant shortly after. 3 male teens aged 13, 14, and 15 are charged with robbery. The 15-year-old was released on an undertaking, while the other 2 suspects remain in custody. Prime Minister Mark Carney will join premiers at the summit in Huntsville today.
We need to be at the table, and we need to work through what is a very erratic stance coming from the President of the United States.
We have to unleash Canada, unleash Canadian industry, resources.
On day 1 of the meeting, premiers met with leaders from First Nations that included the Assembly of First Nations, Anishinaabe Abek Nation, and the Native Women's Association of Canada. Premiers are saying that they want involvement from Indigenous leaders on major infrastructure projects, but not everyone is convinced.
Pretty much set in their ways, and somehow we're supposed to believe them that things will be okay. And we're saying, no, we don't believe it.
Looking ahead to today, Prime Minister Carney is expected to give an update on talks for a new trade deal with the U.S. Premiers will also have questions about which nation-building projects the Prime Minister is considering. This subway train offers a ride to the past. A restored 1938 subway train was been put back into service in the London Underground. At the time it was built, this model was the first on London to use an electric motor. Today's passengers are giving up a ride a thumbs up. They're especially like the seating. The tube train is running as part of a celebration marking 200 years of train travel in the UK. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along Osborne Street. While it is picking up, there's no stalls or crashes to report. CTV Morning WPG on X.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Joseph Bernacki joins us from Fort Garry. Tell us all about what you're doing now, Joseph.
Thanks, Ainsley. Good morning, Winnipeg. At this time, Marc-Andre Bellecourt joins us again from Parks Canada. Pleasure to have you on our show again.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool boat just behind us here at the fort. Tell us a little bit about the history of these York boats.
Yeah, so these York boats are named after York Factory. So it's one of the National Historic Sites that we manage. And York Factory is at the mouth of the Hayes River on the Hudson Bay. And essentially, Orcadians, people from northern Scotland, looked at the trip that was being done from places like Lower Fort Garry up to York Factory, and they designed a boat according to to make that trip as efficient as possible.
And you mentioned it was pretty neat how people from that part of Scotland still have connections with the people here in Manitoba when they reminisce and they share a little bit of the history of these boats, you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and places like Stromness and when you go into bars and places like that, sometimes you do see pictures and stained glass of the Hudson Bay Company related history that we share with that part of Scotland.
That's pretty cool. And, you know, people can come, Marc-Andre, take a look at these boats and also other forms of transportation that were used here within the fort. Talk to us a little bit about this Transpo Expo that's going to be happening soon.
Yeah, on August 16th, we invite all Manitobans to come and visit us here at Lower Fort Garry, and where they can discover various modes of transportation attached to the fort's history. York boat being one, of course, but you also have Red River Carts. The Jerome Cart Works is a Métis Red River Cart builder, is going to be joining us here. Additionally, you have lots of old cars. The All British Car Show is going to be here as well, and there's all kinds of other modes of transportation that are going to be highlighted throughout that day.
Cameraman Scott showing one of those Red River carts on the show right now. Give me a quick word on what interests you the most about their design.
What I like the most about them is that there are no metals holding that together. So as the carts would go down the trail, it would make so much noise that you could hear them from a long distance. So it's very typical of the area here in the 19th century to see Red River carts, mainly used by the Métis people.
Pretty cool. Again, well, that event's going to be happening on August 16th, and we'll be back from one more segment this morning from Fort Garry. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Joseph. Automaker Stellantis has reported nearly $500 million loss for the first half of this year due to tariffs, and a number that could rise. It may be a harbinger of what's ahead for the rest of the auto sector. Here's CTV's John Vanavali-Rao on the anxiety of the industry and the future of auto production in Canada.
Since last year, this Stellantis auto plant in Brampton, Ontario, has been shut down for retooling that was paused back in February and is yet to resume. And now, with word of the company's financial losses, in part related to tariffs, the workers are understandably worried.
Emotionally, it's very hard because there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, we got 3,000 members in that Brampton assembly plant, 1,000+ members that supply that plant and the parts supplier base.
Stellantis, which is known for brands like Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Fiat, reporting that the U.S. president's auto tariffs have so far cost the company $480 million Canadian as it cut vehicle shipments and some production. And the chief financial officer says the full-year tariff impact could be as much as $2.4 billion.
It won't help them, that's for sure. And Stellantis is already in a decent spot of trouble. They've run into all kinds of issues, particularly in the North American market.
The company has been struggling with slow sales and restructuring costs, and a new CEO was brought in 2 months ago after the previous one resigned under pressure. At Stellantis' Windsor, Ontario plant, operations were shut down for several weeks earlier this year, and workers were supposed to return to the Brampton plant by the end of this year, but the retooling remains on hold. Still, Stellantis continues to say it does not change our previously announced investment plans for Brampton.
A world with tariffs is unacceptable for us. A world with tariffs puts our plant in a vulnerable position, even more so than it is now, and not only for our plant, but all of Southern Ontario and the whole auto industry.
And despite that hefty tariff cost, the union rep remains confident the Brampton plant will make vehicles again, although when is not clear. John Vanavali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, a look now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. We're going to be seeing storms in just a matter of time. When you see this satellite image, you'll see what I saw. I might still make it to the rooftop in about 10 minutes time when I need to go, but after that, probably all bets off as those storms will be right over the city. 18 degrees right now, 20 degrees over in Kenora, Sprague. Your temperatures haven't moved really this morning. You've been well above seasonal to kick things off. Meanwhile, we had dropped as low as 15, so we've been making those gains over the past few hours. Similar temperatures through the south, mid to high teens for the most part. Moving across parts of northern Manitoba, double digits, low to mid-teens. Not with the storms, though. Instead, the smoke. That remains an issue through most of northern and central Manitoba and even further east yet with a slightly downgraded advisory. It was lifted here in southern Manitoba. We had those south winds yesterday. Air quality improved. We're likely to see that deteriorate again later this afternoon. But first, the storms there. You can see them looking pretty active. Here we'll flatten the map and get a slightly closer look. It looks like we're just going to begin to see the showers right now, but those storms. So like I said, in about 10 minutes time, probably probably one last time to get to the rooftop before all of that is over us and I stay safe indoors. As we watch the mercury climb today, it will be a below seasonal day, topping out probably in the low 20s here in the south, maybe high teens across much of northern Manitoba, but the mercury ramping up throughout the rest of the week. And dry conditions expected after today. Smoky, though. Those winds out of the north later today will draw that smoke back in, so tomorrow 24 and hazy, and then getting hotter as we look ahead to the weekend. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning. More than 7,000 Canadians died of an opioid overdose last year, nearly 3/4 of those involving fentanyl. Canada's health minister calls it a national crisis and announced funding for new programs in Atlantic Canada. CTV's Sarah Plowman has more.
It's for my brother, but I'm going to say it is.
Her brother, Brody LeBlanc, who died in December, just 33.
My brother didn't die of a fentanyl overdose, but we believe that he was taking fentanyl at the time and he actually froze to death.
Whoever wrote his name left the gift of his memory. His sister runs the community kitchen inside. She's also a Fredericton City councillor.
He had his issues and his struggles, but I loved him dearly. My whole family loved him dearly. And I think there's a lot of Brodies out there.
Last year in Canada, about 20 people died each day of an opioid overdose. Fewer than the year before, but still a crisis. In New Brunswick, the opioid deaths involving fentanyl specifically reached an all-time high. In a bid to support those on the front lines, Ottawa is spending nearly $3 million on 4 programs in Atlantic Canada.
Because this is a national crisis, and we are talking about people.
In Fredericton, more than $500,000 will fund this outreach van and its workers. They patrol streets and parks at night and offer help to anyone, everyone.
Just to be able to get them what they need. Of course, like we said, naloxone's a big part of it. Even just simple as a conversation.
The team is often called in by bylaw officers. Their presence can free up emergency services for other calls.
There's so many gaps, and it's like you're not going to be able to fill them all, but like this is a really good start.
Having people in place overnight might have saved my brother and will save other people.
LeBlanc also says more needs to be done, especially around housing and getting people housed, noting people need support and stability if they're to overcome addiction. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
If you're seeking a multicultural experience right here in Winnipeg, look no further. Flavors of the World is happening this Saturday. From music to food, bring your lawn chair and head to Crescent Park. Joining me now is Executive Director Cedric Cott. Good morning, Cedric.
Good morning, Ainsley.
So you're with the Community Network of Canada. What is that?
So the International Community Network of Canada is an organization that brings together people from all cultural backgrounds. So what we do is during our flagship event, Flavors of the World, we bring these international communities here in Winnipeg. We bring them to celebrate their culture, celebrate their differences around foods, cultural performances. The flagship thing that we do with us is really cultural dialogues, just because we think that it's really important for people to understand each other, to connect. And so when people come, this is really what they love about this event. They make connections, and really this is what defines us as an organization.
How many countries are represented in the festival and in the group?
We have lots of countries. So for this season, we've had almost, I believe, 10 countries that have registered. Some countries will be participating by performing, so dance. Some countries also will participate by showing their food, so there will be vendors as well. And some countries also just want to come and watch performances and want to come and enjoy the event.
When it comes to some of the advocacy work you're doing as well, tell us about that.
So really, it's really about letting people know that we as an organization, we are fighting isolation, just because we think that when internationals come here, it's very difficult to be away from home. So the aspect of having this kind of events bring them together. They're able to meet people from different countries, and this really gives them the makes them, you know, have the opportunity to leave their homes and come and have this discussion. So it's really fulfilling. It really helps. There's a lot of things that happen here in Canada. So you having to speak with someone who can speak your language, I think it's really nice, and that's what we've been fighting for.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to some of the performances, anything, I won't ask you to name all of them because it's several hours, but anything that comes to mind that you're like, okay, people are going to like this?
So I know we have the Peru community. So so we have a lot of Hispanic communities that participate in our events. So they have very traditional cultural dance that they really love to show during our events. I don't really, they have like very different names, but they really, the Hispanic communities are really defined by dancing, and so that's beautiful, and people really look out for these things when they come to our event. This season we are also having like African communities such as the Malian community that is joining us for the first time. So it's really going to be a mixture of different cultures, and we really love to see the diversity.
Yes, lots of fun, lots of flavor, whether it's the food or the dance. We'll have a link on our website.
Yeah.
All right, not even needing the umbrella at this time. It's cloudy, don't get me wrong, and we know those storms are getting closer. We've been watching them all morning on the satellite image, and most of southern Manitoba at risk of both showers and thunderstorms passing through this morning. 18 degrees, no wind at this time. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 93%. That wind, however, will likely be increasing again, and it's going to be out of the north today, and that is not good news when it comes to the heavy smoke, which, by the way, heavy smoke warnings remain in place through much of central, north central Manitoba. And we're likely to notice that smoke being drawn back in again as those winds out of the north increase on the other side of the storms. Sure, they're light right now, and then this morning it will be a more active morning as far as the weather goes through southern Manitoba, with showers and thunderstorms passing through. So next couple of hours, things could be a little bit soggy. My rain gauge all ready to see what we can collect today. It was only about 3 millimeters through yesterday total. So I've dumped that out, and we're ready to see what today may bring, perhaps 10 to 15 millimeters, according to Environment Canada. Well, this is LMA, the newest edition at Sandy Ridge Stables. Thanks to Kevin, who was out there and snapped this cute pic. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
A man in Edmonton is spending a little more than 2 days on a Ferris wheel, only getting off for bathroom breaks. CTV's Amanda Anderson explains how he plans to pull it off and why.
Chris Sheets is taking his love of amusement park rides to new heights on this Ferris wheel.
I didn't think I'd be nervous. I love rides, but I watched it doing a little bit of warm up today, and it's moving fairly quick and it's rocking back and forth. So
once the Ferris wheel gets started, Sheets is in store for the longest ride of his life. It's here he'll spend 54 consecutive hours.
This will be good to start 54 hours nice and soggy.
He's only allowed a 5-minute bathroom break each hour, and even when K-Day shuts down for the night, this is where he'll be.
At 11 o'clock, they're going to kind of keep me up in the air, and I'm just going to hang out there, literally hang out, and wait for it to start again the next day.
Not only does he hope to break the current world record of 53 consecutive hours on an amusement park ride, he's raising money for Alberta Dreams, an organization that provides wishes to kids with severe chronic or life-threatening illnesses.
Consecutive hours might probably get a little bit difficult, but again, the children that are going to be riding with me that we've had a chance to help through Alberta Dreams, their lives are always difficult, so 54 hours will be nothing for me.
The Otar family joined Sheets on the Ferris wheel for his first few rotations. Evie, who has cerebral palsy, was granted her wish for a swim spa last month.
To get her into a hot tub is just an out-of-this-world experience for her. She can relax, she can be free of gravity for a little bit, and she actually sleeps really well that night, which is really rare.
They hope to raise $54,000 to help grant 50 wishes this year.
People can come and they can ride with me. Of course, they can donate and show their support here on, and they can also go to albertadreams.ca to contribute.
His 54-hour ride will come to an end on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Good morning. Manitoba is one of the hardest hit provinces from wildfires this year, with over 13,000 people in our province displaced. Smoke and haze in the region has caused frequent air quality alerts. Our kids are hearing about these challenges, and it can be overwhelming for them. Here to discuss the toll is licensed clinical social worker Kevin Richardson. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Ainsley.
So when a child hears something like this, like these tragedies with the wildfires, what does it do to them?
Well, it certainly can create a lot of fear that, you know, can be quite consuming for young people because they don't have the perspective we have as adults. So it definitely, as you said, it can be quite overwhelming. It can be distressing. The other challenges, they're going to talk to their friends, and their friends don't necessarily have the best information either. And so a lot of the messaging that they're getting can be, you know, wrong or incorrect, as well as online. When they're searching online, there's a lot of information that they might not fully understand. So there's a lot of risks there, and they need to be a lot of support in terms of really understanding what's going on in their language, you know, based on their age.
So when that happens, then how can parents or guardians approach these conversations?
I think one of the best things is really to, check with your children to see, if they have any concerns about wildfires. And I wouldn't start with something like, are you afraid of the wildfires? That might put those children, in a little bit of a defensive place. I would just be very casual. What are your thoughts about, the fires? What do you think is happening? Or, do you think it's something mom and dad should be concerned about? And kind of open it up in a more relaxed way. And that way you're going to get a lot more information from your children, from, your kids.
Mm-hmm. Is it ever a good idea to avoid talking about it?
That's a hard question. I would say, probably not. I mean, it's, it's one of those things that, especially in Manitoba, it is part of what's going on right now. We've had some pretty serious fires. People have had to be evacuated, a lot of disruption. So it's something that, young people are going to hear at some point for sure. And so it's, again, it's better to start that conversation before or, during as much as possible. I think that's just a safer position. And mentioning it is also allowing them, you don't have to go into detail, but if you have any concerns, you can come to mom and dad.
Yeah, and every child is going to react differently, right? So what happens, say there's a child who's incredibly overwhelmed?
Yeah, if you have a child that's incredibly overwhelmed and really looking, let's say distressed, or high levels of anxiety, I would definitely want to explore that more with that child. And so as a parent, I'd really want to, kind of open up that conversation. Certainly, if that child's really distressed and they're wanting to talk about, that's going to be easier in the sense that you're going to get a sense of what they're afraid of or what they're kind of holding emotionally. And sometimes for children, just to know that the parent is there. And one of the key things is being emotionally attuned. Mm-hmm. And so the parent really I'm sensing that you're looking really afraid, or you're really, worried about this, or you look scared. Let's
being there for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that sense of being heard for young people can relieve a lot of that stress in most cases.
Kevin, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Terry, outside, you didn't need the umbrella.
No, at this time, I wasn't even noticing like those light raindrops that I had seen a few minutes back. But when I show you the satellite image, you'll see just how close those storms are to the city. It's 18 degrees, no wind right now. The pressure falling, the humidity at 93%. But that wind will be increasing later on today, and the news may not be good. We've still got the smoke warnings through most of north and central Manitoba and parts of northwestern Ontario, well, parts of Saskatchewan as well. But it's all just north of the city. And with winds expected to be out of the north later on today, it'll likely draw that smoke back in again. We lucked in yesterday with winds out of the south, so it kind of cleared out that air, and all of those warnings were lifted as a result. So cleaner air this morning, stormier conditions. And you can see that here as I show you what's going on the satellite image. It does look incredibly active, and we'll flatten out this map for a better idea of just how close it is to Winnipeg. And there you can see I didn't actually need the rain or the umbrella just yet, but very active and still making its way toward us, so we will probably get rolled over by these storms. It's just a matter of time. 21 degrees is where we'll top out today, slightly below seasonal, but the winds out of the north will be increasing, drawing that smoke in later on today. So we'll deal with those winds through the afternoon. Even overnight, though they'll taper off, they'll still remain out of the north as we drop down to a seasonal 13 degrees. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, but with north winds remaining, likely to be both sunny and a little bit hazy too, or smoky. 24 degrees, the temperature's on the rise again, and will continue to ramp up as we're looking ahead to a very hot, possibly stormy weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Hot, dry conditions over the weekend intensified wildfire activity throughout Manitoba, and thick smoke blanketing the air isn't helping either. The province says it's keeping an eye on fires nearing the Laurie River Generation Station, Kettle Rapids Dam, Garden Hill, Leaf Rapids, and Snow Lake.
We have seen very scattered precipitation, so if we don't get the precipitation, we expect fire activity to continue to remain fairly active on those fires where it has been in recent days.
Officials say that the wildfire risk remains high to very high in eastern and northern Manitoba, with some areas at extreme danger. But despite those dry conditions, the province says crews made good progress on fires near Thompson, Cross Lake, Split Lake, and Flin Flon over the weekend. However, smoky conditions, which have prompted widespread air quality statements and warnings, are impacting firefighting efforts, especially from the air.
Definitely when there's heavy smoke, it makes it difficult for our water bombers to take off or land. They need good visibility to safely conduct their operations. It's also an issue sometimes for the helicopters, depending on how low that smoke is. So we've had challenges getting crews out to areas of the fire where we would need access through helicopter, as well as just being able to bucket using a helicopter. It has been limited by smoke as well.
The province says that there are 120 wildfires burning as of Monday morning. That's 2 fewer than Friday. Meantime, more than 13,000 Manitobans are currently evacuated because of the wildfires. They're occupying around 2,500 hotel rooms and 840 shelter beds. Like many businesses, the steel industry in Manitoba is hoping a trade deal with the U.S. can be reached soon. This as 50% U.S. tariffs are impacting the steel and aluminum sectors, and new tariffs loom for August 1st.
For us, what it did is it shifted all of our purchases to non-tariff countries. So we're buying in Canada predominantly. We are buying some imports from other countries that are non-tariff related.
But buying overseas can increase shipping time, so the company has had to stock up. The Plouffe says that business in down about 12% compared to last year. Steel is big in Selkirk. The Gerdau mill employs 550 people. So its mayor is hoping Canada and the U.S. can strike a deal.
A 10% tariff, that's what I would hope for. I don't think we're going to see zero. I really don't.
Last week, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced measures aimed at helping Canada's steel industry by restricting and reducing foreign steel imports. Water safety was top of mind at a beach in Toronto, where the Life Saving Society was offering some key tips to prevent drowning. It comes during the start of National Drowning Prevention Week. CTV's Pauline Chan has more.
We don't want to immediately jump into the water and help them, because that's going to put ourselves into danger too. So grabbing something that floats nearby, encouraging them to come in is obviously what we want to do. We want to reach and throw, but we don't want to go.
One key safety tip to keep beachgoers safe this summer. The Life Saving Society of Ontario was at Kew Beach to mark National Drowning Prevention Week. Stephanie Baccalar says the vast majority of drownings occur in bodies of water.
This is because of temperature, waves, currents. You've got drop-offs. It's unpredictable in the water.
In Ontario, 100% of drownings of children under age 5 occurred when supervision was absent or distracted.
Last year in Ontario, there were 39 drownings. So far this year, as of July 8th, there have been 40 drownings in Ontario.
The City of Toronto has 140 lifeguards at 10 swimming beaches.
They're all national
lifeguard certified, and they work every day during the summer from 10:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m., keeping swimmers safe and educating the public about safety. Each lifeguard towel also indicates the water conditions. So if you see a green flag, it means it's safe to swim. Lifeguards are on duty. If you see a yellow flag, it means that you need to proceed with caution. Water conditions may be a bit choppy. And if you see a red flag, please do not enter the water.
There was also demonstrations of how to properly fit a life jacket or personal flotation device.
Really important with life jackets that they are zipped and they are clipped and they are very snug. If your life jacket is riding up over the ears, it is too big.
Plus reminders for sun protection to make sure everyone can enjoy summer swimming in safety. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
This is what it looks like along Kenniston Boulevard right now. Traffic volumes, so far, so good. You can find us on X, CTV Morning WPG for tips. And look at your gas prices now. The Canadian average stands at $1.36. The provincial average is lower, $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29. The lowest price in the city is $1.19. All this information available at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Manitoba's Sunflower Festival. Well, we're going to talk about that at 8:45. It inspired our question of the day. What's the one thing that you always look forward to at Manitoba's summer festivals? Great Manitoba food, says Jackie. Corn on the cob and good music. Marlene weighs in. Thank you for your response. Joseph Bernacki joins us now from a big hat and a big house. Good morning.
A big hat and a big house. I've been promoted, Ainsley, to governor.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so we're having a lot of fun for this last segment. We're sitting in the ladies' parlor. I'm very pleased to be joined by Sarah Antimus again. Thank you so much for your time. And you've got a costume change this morning.
Yes, that's what you call a quick change.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, what you're holding in your hand right now.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a piece of embroidery. Multiple interpreters have had their hand on this one, but it's one of the things that you're able to do here on site. We have a couple of different activities going on.
Yeah, tell us a little bit what else is on the table with us.
Sure. So we have a piece of embroidery here, which is just a bunch of, threading. We also have some quills here because in the late 1800s, people would have been adorning their clothes with a variety of things, including embroidery, tatting, this is lace making over here, cross stitching, quill work, moose hair tufting, beadwork. And so you can see all these things here on site at Lower Fort Garry. But you're also able to try your hand at some of them. So we have these little mini embroidery hoops here just waiting for your signatures. And so you can come in and try those on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 3 p.m.
It's another one of those hourly activities you mentioned.
It is, exactly. So we have these hourly activities. They're free with admission, and because of the Canada Strong Pass, you get in free as well. So there's something you can try with admission. We have a bunch of different activities, including Nature's Pharmacy, which kind of teaches you about different plants in the area. We have we have historic weapons demonstrations a couple times a day. We've got tons. Red River Refrains, so you can do a sing-along if you so want.
There was a Bannock making we had earlier on the show.
Yes, for sure, yeah. Exactly.
It's neat how we have all these little individual tasks, kind of hobbies now, but back then they had a lot of practicality for people's clothing or things that they'd adorn in their house.
Yeah, for sure, especially upper-class ladies in the late 1800s, mid-1800s, late 1800s. You'd be spending a lot of time embroidering just because that's what's expected of you. That's how you pass your time. And it's one of the ways that you can socialize and gain traction within the company, actually.
Before we wrap up from Lower Fort Garry, Sarah, where would you direct people to find out some more information on all these list of events and things you guys are hosting here?
Yeah, exactly. I would recommend, to make the most of your Parks Canada experience, I'd recommend checking out the website, our Lower Fort Garry website, for there to learn more about fees, programming, events, all those different things.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time on the show again this morning. And again, with the Canada Strong Pass, admission is free to your national parks here and sites here in Manitoba. So take advantage of it and come spend the summer at Lower Fort Garry.
Thank you, Joseph. Awesome. No hat for you.
No hat for me, but I've got the umbrella.
Oh, there it is.
I don't need it right now. So here's the thing. I did use the umbrella earlier on this morning, about an hour ago. There were all of 12 raindrops that fell. I probably didn't need the umbrella actually for that. But TV is a visual medium, and I love a prop, clearly. I don't need it yet, but it's only a matter of time. This rain is coming, and it will likely roll over us. So I've got my rain gauge already, dumped the 3 millimeters out that we got yesterday. That was about it. Today, Environment Canada is warning 10 to 15 millimeters could fall. It's 18 degrees. It's an above seasonal. There goes the umbrella. It's an above seasonal start to the day. The winds are light right now, but that will change. They'll be out of the north and increasing. And so once the storms pass on by, that's kind of like the first order of business that we have to get through. Then it will be starting to clear out a little bit, but also not clearing out because the smoke will be drawn back in again as winds out of the north increase through the afternoon. And we are still dealing with those heavy smoke warnings through north and central Manitoba. You're not likely to see precipitation today, but the heavy smoke will linger in areas just to the north of us. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It's 8:45. There are growing concerns after recent social media posts warn 2 men convicted of killing women are active on dating apps in Alberta. The mother of one victim and some groups behind the warning post saying it's about protecting women. But legal experts say it raises questions about privacy and vigilantism. CTV's Terry Fikowski reports.
Ladies, be careful.
Warning circulating on social media about 2 men with violent pasts active on dating apps in Alberta. Women on Wing Society, a domestic violence support group, posted, "Ladies beware," after seeing a profile on Facebook dating for a man convicted of manslaughter and causing indignity to the body of a Calgary mother.
You know, if these women are not fully aware of the background of these men that are on these dating sites or who they're meeting, there's a lot of potential for danger there.
The victim's mother also worries women may unknowingly end up on a date with her daughter's killer.
Because to me, people don't change. Anyone that's been charged or incarcerated with causing bodily harm or causing death, they really should come with a warning.
Other posts, like this one by Lost Souls Media, warn of another man convicted of second-degree murder of a woman in BC, now living in Calgary and spotted on dating apps. But a criminal defense lawyer says these men have been released from prison and served their debt to society.
When they're done, they're done. And they are entitled to all the rights and privileges of any other Canadian.
How did he serve his time? He was sentenced to life in prison and did 7 years. He didn't serve his time.
CTV News is not identifying the men because while we've seen the dating profiles, we reached out to both men to confirm they were created by them and aren't fake accounts, but did not hear back. The social media posts are also concerning for this legal expert who worries they could lead to vigilante action.
There have been lots of cases where individuals have misidentified someone, done harm to the person they've misidentified, and then face criminal charges themselves. So it's rolling the dice, and I don't think they should be doing that.
But to some, the warnings are warranted if they could possibly prevent another tragedy.
Me, her kids, her family, we get life. We get life without her.
It is the 60th anniversary of the Manitoba Sunflower Festival in Altona. It's going to be packed with your favorite food and entertainment, with some fun throwbacks even. Joining me now is Altona's Mayor Harv Schroeder. Good morning, Harv.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you. 60 years. Tell us a bit about that history.
Yeah, it's the 60th anniversary of the Manitoba Sunflower Festival. So it starts on July 25th to the 27th. And so it'll be a packed weekend, fun time for families, music, food, and yeah, it's been around pretty much as long as I've been around.
Well, with that being said, actually, what are some of your earliest memories of it?
Well, the earliest memories I have is when it all happened downtown, and and it was in the arena and not used to be downtown here, but everything has shifted over towards the park with a new stage during the Millennium Celebration and with the exhibition center and the stage. And so, yeah, it's basically a lot of it is at the park and in that area.
But people do, while they're excited for the future, they enjoy the nostalgia as well. I understand that you're bringing back the ping pong ball drop.
Yeah, so the ping pong ball drop used to be run right down the center of town. But there were some issues with balls landing on the roofs of businesses and people climbing stores and to try and find the right ball to get the grand prize. And people, running over each other. And so this year it's going to be done with a drone, and it will be done in the park on one of the baseball diamonds. So a nice wide open area.
Okay, I can't believe I'm this far into the interview and I haven't asked you about the sunflowers.
Well, the sunflowers, yeah, we did try putting up a area that normally people will take pictures of the sunflowers, and but that plot didn't really get going properly. So there are sunflowers in the area if you go a little further east of Altona towards L'Atelier. But if somebody wants to see what a field of sunflowers looks like.
And it really is about, togetherness, family, friends. What else is on site for people to enjoy?
Well, there's so much. So I just picked up a brochure. So if you come to Altona, you can pick this up. There will be an information booth. And you can also look on 2025 Manitoba Sunflower Festival website. And there's a host of things starting actually Thursday night already. It's a community meal sponsored by Pioneer Meat, IGA, and Sun Valley Co-op. And that evening, they're doing a evening of movies in the park. So it's a massive screen that, and everybody's invited. Friday is actually the main day that the festival starts. Again, there's things for kids like bouncy, bounce-around inflatables, right? And it keeps. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're out of time. I'm going to direct people to the website as well so that they can get the whole list. Thank you for your time. We appreciate that.
Perfect. Thank you.
It sounds like a good time. Always is. So yeah, honestly, it's probably going to be a great weekend, hot weekend for it. We're going to see those temperatures ramping up in a couple of days. Today, though, a cool start. I was going to say start to the week. It's Tuesday already. We already started the week. But 18 degrees. Don't be deceived by our above seasonal temps this morning. It's the lack of gains that will make through the day. Light winds right now. Pressure is falling. The humidity at 93%. So as far as the smoke goes, we're still dealing with that warning in place through northern and central Manitoba. It was lifted here in the south. We lucked in with those south winds yesterday. That's all going to change. The winds are light right now, but they will be increasing out of the north, drawing more of that smoke back in. But that's more of an afternoon event. The morning event all has to do with this. I made it through the morning going up there to the rooftop, but there you can see, ooh, yeah, I would be getting wet right about now. Anyway, showers, thunderstorms all across much of southern Manitoba. I'll back up so you can see that. That'll be today's event, and then smoky through the afternoon as those winds out of the north draw more of that smoke back in again. It'll probably still be hazy tomorrow as those north winds remain in place. But the sky begins to clear, drier conditions through the rest of the week. Now, the temperatures will be ramping up eventually ahead of a hot weekend, and with those hot temperatures comes the possibility of storms once again. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Okay, with it being Tuesday, are you going to blend in or stand out? It's time now for your morning smile. They say birds of a feather flock together, but this pigeon is having the time of its life.
Love that.
Oh my gosh.
There's disco duck, and then there's, I don't even know what that would be.
I've seen pigeon poop, but not puke. Okay, finally, a tortoise that is motivated by a mower.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. Shouldn't stop moving through the
I think I'd be motivated to cut the grass if I had a friend like this.
I'm impressed by the grounds that he's covering. And also curious to know what motivates him.
He's not doing probably what motivates us.
Is it?
See you tomorrow.